At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right. You can listen to us until 3 Eastern each and every day, noon to 3 Eastern, right here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Also on SiriusXM Channel 375. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla, live from Chicago. If you want to join the show today, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Lots to do today on the show, and there's a lot of good NFL storylines to keep our eyes on as we get things started, especially with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, the NFL, the machine that doesn't stop. Even though the season is over, the Super Bowl, the parade is happening today for the Seattle Seahawks, but it is a machine that doesn't stop. As Clint Kubiak had his introductory press conference yesterday, it is presumed that they're going to draft Fernando Mendoza, but the conversation is about who is in their building, who may not be in their building for very long in the offseason. It is about Chris, it is about Max Crosby, and what are they going to do with the edge rusher that is probably the most coveted star that could be on the market this offseason?
Non-quarterback, right? Because there are some different storylines we'll keep our eyes on throughout the show today, especially in Pittsburgh. What are the Steelers going to do with Aaron Rodgers? So we'll keep our eyes on that, and we'll talk about that later in the show. But you're right, non-quarterbacks, Max Crosby is the biggest name that perhaps could be moved. And the reason why this is interesting and something to keep your eyes on is last week, Jay Glazer from Fox said that Crosby doesn't want to be there anymore. He wants out, he's not happy, and he's, quote, done with the Raiders. So that's one side of it, right, from the player's perspective. From the Raiders' perspective, yesterday, Clint Kubiak spoke to the media, Mark Davis spoke to the media, and both said that Max Crosby is a Raider. They want him to be there to be a Raider. And obviously, he's the best player on the team. He's the player that they market. He's the guy. He's the show that you go to Raiders games right now to go see. And then as we spin this forward towards the NFL draft, they have the number 1 pick. So when you look at Fernando Mendoza as the number 1 selection, if that's the way they choose to go, which is likely, they need a quarterback, best quarterback on the market, Super Bowl winning quarterback, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from Indiana. You enter that player into the equation. You would also say to yourself, to the Raiders, like, it makes sense. Wouldn't you want to keep the best player on your team to be a part of something growing towards the future? But then I can also see the other side of it, where if you move Max Crosby in this offseason, the picks you can get back, I'm guessing multiple first-round picks, that would help a team last in the NFL, picking first in the draft, to build up towards the future. So I think it's definitely something that it's interesting that was out there last week that Glazer said he doesn't want to be there anymore, because Glazer knows. He's a great reporter.
Oh, yeah.
He's in with the players. He's likely getting it straight from the player, right? So I think that's something you have to take seriously. But the organization is not just going to cave and be like, okay, here, send him off. They said on the record yesterday they want Max Crosby to be in the mix next season.
I think the interesting layer here, too, is that according to Clint Kubiak, they spoke yesterday. They had a coffee yesterday. Max Crosby was in the building yesterday. He was working out. He was getting, he's also rehabbing an injury. Like, this is something that he's going to be working out in the offseason and getting treatment and rehabbing an injury. He had surgery and was away from the facility. And the reason he is disgruntled is because they put him on IR and didn't play him in the final game to get that first pick in the draft so they could secure that first pick. And he was upset. They sent him home, and he was posting videos playing basketball and jumping on a trampoline.
Right, with a knee injury.
When they said he had a knee injury, and then he ended up having surgery on that knee, and now he's going to be, quote, rehabbing this injury. He was in the facility yesterday. He was working out, and Clint Kubiak said all these things, and they love him as a Raider, and they want him as a Raider. I'm on the camp of the other side that you mentioned. Trade him. If there are rumblings that he doesn't want to be there, that's fine. You can work that out. Money can fix all problems. Look at Myles Garrett, right? He doesn't want to be there. They're one of the worst teams in the NFL. They're one of the worst run organizations in the NFL, in the Cleveland Browns.
Sure.
Money can fix all things. You can win 4 or 5 games and have the Ferrari in the front yard of, the worst house in the neighborhood, but you've got the Ferrari in the front yard, and he shines up everything, and it doesn't matter. He's making the most money. He's setting records in the NFL. You still got Myles Garrett. He's happy. He doesn't care. You can do that with Max Crosby if you want to. He's going to be 29 in August, so he's going to be 29 for the start of next season. I would say it's best for the franchise, in my opinion, to trade him and get as many first-round picks as you can. Get a first-round pick this year. Get a first-round pick next year. If you can, I don't think you'll get more than 2 for him, and you'll get a couple other things mixed in there. I don't think you're getting 3.
I mean, he's under contract until 2029.
I get it.
So, whoever would make the move for Max Crosby, you're getting him for an extended period of time.
I know, but being 29, almost 30, I don't think you're getting 3 first-round picks for him.
Yeah, but pass rushers at that type of that type of player, that type of caliber pass rusher, they last. It's not like running backs, where you use them up and then they're essentially disposable by NFL means, right? You just go draft a new guy. You can be a pass rusher in your mid-30s and still be pretty successful. I'm talking about the top-level guys, Hall of Fame level guys.
Let's say
that's the path that Max Crosby's on. If he's on a path to become a Hall of Famer at some point.
He had 10 sacks last year, 7.5 the year before, 2 years ago. Or 3 years ago, he had 14.5. The year before that, 12.5. Okay, it makes my case even better if you can get 3. If you can get 3 first-round picks for him, then if I'm Mark Davis, I'm driving him to the airport. I'm taking him out of town yesterday because that sets you up for the future in a great way. If you can get 3 first-round picks, you're drafting offensive line, you're drafting great weapons, you're drafting another. It's hard to find another Max Crosby. It's easy for anyone to say, well, just draft the next Max Crosby. Just draft another guy that's going to get you double-digit sacks a year. That's hard to find. It's almost impossible to replicate that kind of production and just say, we'll just do that. No, you're not going to do that right away. but you can try. And if you're getting 3 first-round picks for a player, and this isn't the NBA or baseball or anything like that where you can say, well, is Max Crosby going to be productive when you're ready to compete? It's the NFL. Teams can make the playoffs in a year. The Raiders might be ready to compete in a year. But I still think if you can get 3 first-round picks for a guy and you're the worst team in the NFL and you want to set up your new quarterback for success, the better way to go is to trade him and build around a young quarterback. Set up your offensive line, build in the trenches, get him a weapon or two, and really, if you can have multiple first-round picks for the next 3 years, that sets you up for the future.
Yeah, I wonder if that's even on the table, though, because I think that's where if you compare it to the past, star pass rushers who have been traded in the past, Von Miller was traded to the Rams from the Broncos in exchange for a second and third round pick in 2022. But Von Miller was also a free agent after the season. So that's a lower price tag, right? Khalil Mack was traded from the Raiders to the Chicago Bears for 2 first round picks. Okay. But also he was going to be a free agent. So he needed a new contract immediately when he was signed there. So I think that I don't think you're that far off, because Max Crosby is under contract until 2029. He becomes a free agent in 2030. So, I guess my concern would not be based on the age of Max Crosby. I think he's going to be a great player for the rest of this contract. I'm guessing he'll get a second big deal at some point, or restructure. Someone will give him an extension.
Yeah.
And I mean, at that time, when his contract is up and he's a free agent, he'll be 33. That's still doable. You can still work with that as a lead edge rusher in the NFL. So I think it is possible you could get more than the 2 first-round picks for Max Crosby. And if you're the Raiders, that's a very tempting thing to do. I think right now what you would have to do is what Kubiak and Mark Davis are doing and what they said to the media yesterday. You got to play up that you're keeping him. Right?
Of course.
You got to play up and make other teams believe that Max Crosby will be a Raider. He's going to be a Raider for life. And make a team that needs a pass rusher give you more than you expect. Really impress you.
Yeah.
And if they come to you as the Raiders and say, hey, 3 first-round picks for Max Crosby, how do you turn that down? Because I think you're right on that. That, to me, would make a lot of sense.
You essentially have a month. I would want to do this before free agency. Free agency starts March 9th, which is the legal tampering window. Because you don't want to wait until the draft, because once free agency starts, that's when teams can go out and start paying guys and all that kind of stuff. I want to do this before. If I'm a team that wants Max Crosby, I want this done before free agency, before, if I'm a team that has over 90 million or 100 million or whatever in cap space, 60 million, whatever, I want to know where my money is going to go. I want to know what percentage of my cap is going to go out and be allotted to Max Crosby.
Right.
So if I'm a team that is a quote, Max Crosby away, we saw a team like the Packers go out and trade for Micah Parsons. And if Micah Parsons stayed healthy, they could be playing in the Super Bowl. They could be in an NFC Championship game playing against the Seahawks or the Rams. They were a player away. The Chicago Bears could have been, with that defense as bad as they were, we saw that defense show up in a playoff game. If they had Micah Parsons, or if next season they add Max Crosby, they could be a team that's a player away from advancing farther in the playoffs than they did this season. So a team that has a lot of cap space going in, I would want to do this in a month. You've got a few weeks here to get this deal done for Max Crosby. Now, if he's saying he's got a knee injury, he had surgery, but before that surgery, the dude's jumping on trampolines and playing basketball. How serious is that knee injury that you had surgery on, you know?
I'm sick. Right?
But he had surgery.
But I'm okay.
He had some stuff cleaned out. He had some surgery. Okay.
You know what that is. You call in sick from your job, but then you're living your best life on Instagram.
Now
right? Like you don't go to the office because you're sick, right?
You got the blurry background on your Zoom, right?
Yeah, but so you stay home,
yeah,
and then on your Instagram story, it's you at the lake house, right? Like you're water skiing, and you're having a great time out in the sun on a beautiful summer day, but you, I can't get to the office today. I can't, I'm a little sick. That's what that is.
There's another wrinkle to this that I think we need to bring up.
Sure.
That the NFL is floating an idea that would extend the length of time that you can trade picks out from 3 years to 5 years.
To 5.
Right now, there's a limit on years that you can trade picks. So someone could trade 3 first-round picks.
Yes.
And that's the limit.
That's the limit.
Someone
That's
could
all you
now
can do
trade,
in the NFL.
If this deal goes, or if this new change goes through before the draft or before free agency, whenever they vote on this,
right?
You could trade. Now, that just doesn't mean you could trade 5 first-round picks, but you could trade 3 future firsts, and those firsts could be spread out over the next 5 years. They don't have to be. Now, the Raiders would want them to be right away, obviously. They want the fruits of that trade to come to fruition right away. But that doesn't mean a team couldn't get creative and say, here's 2 first-round picks, a 3rd round, a conditional 4th in 4 years of this based on production, because now teams can get creative 5 years into the future, the way you see NBA teams get creative 5 years into the future.
Creative or back themselves into a situation.
Whatever way you want to look at it, the GMs will say creative, and then the GMs that have to come in and deal with that mess will say backed into a corner.
Well, it's those individuals that then get fired.
Exactly.
That's how that works.
Exactly.
I mean that. And we've seen it from the NBA where it doesn't necessarily work. When you're doing that and you're bringing back that star player and you're giving up all of that first round capital, it almost never works. The teams that have success are the teams that are selling away those star players and getting back all of those assets.
Yeah.
That's the way that we've seen young teams get put together here in the last couple of seasons in the NBA. So, I don't think it's necessary for football. I don't need that in the NFL. So I understand that that's something that they're going to pitch and then to look at and see if you can go 5 years out to extend. Primarily, I don't think that is something that would really have anything to do with Max Crosby specifically. But what this could do is that it will put into play quarterbacks. Because if there is a star level quarterback and for some reason there's friction within the organization, now when you're talking 5 first round picks, that could move a big name quarterback.
Well, I think
because now I think teams feel obligated to just try and make it work because of the way the structure is, where if you have a quarterback who's making that much of the salary cap, leading your team, you can't just give up on that situation. But if you say you got 5 stabs at a quarterback because you got 5 first round draft picks coming at you, maybe you would be willing to move off of a star level guy, and maybe we start to see more star level quarterbacks actually get traded. We don't see that often in the NFL.
I think the way it's going to look is that you're going to get more kickers thrown into this, and I don't mean actual kickers. I think that you're going to get, for Max Crosby, you're going to have 2 teams that are willing to offer you, let's say this does go through. 2 teams are bidding on Max Crosby. One team is willing to give you 3 first-round picks and a 3rd round pick in year 3. One team is willing to give you 3 first-round picks, a 3rd round pick in year 3, and a 4th round pick in year 4, and a 5th round pick in year 5. That's what I think this is gonna be used for. Sweeteners in the deal. And that's what teams are going to be looking for. What sweeteners are you giving me? Because if you're willing to give me a little bit something extra down the road that you don't think matters now, but it's just a little extra sweetener at the end, that's what I think this stuff is going to be used for, because teams won't be thinking about that. I'm not willing to give up a 1st round pick 5 years from now, but a 4th round pick 5 years from now, I'm not even thinking about that 5 years from now.
Exactly.
So
right.
that's what I think teams are going to use this new rule, if it happens, to add sweeteners to these deals that I might not even be around for this. So what does it matter to me? Here's a 4th-round pick 5 years from now to get me Max. If that's what's going to put me over the edge to get Max Crosby, then take it, because I might not even be employed by then. Who cares?
That's going to be the move for all GMs that are trying to save their ass.
Absolutely.
Like that's it. And if you're an owner, you have to call that out. You have to say, like, no, we're not doing that, because you might not be here. So you're not ruining my future.
Yeah, but it gets you Max Crosby. If you're an owner, it gets you Max Crosby.
Maybe it does. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Thinking ahead to next season, I was looking at some of the odds on DraftKings, trying to figure out who could win the Super Bowl next year. When looking at it, I've got a team with great value that I think has a chance to win the Super Bowl. We'll talk about that next.
Next year's biggest NFL story starts now.
Westwood One, baby!
We're getting the first reps of next season. Buckle up. The road to Week 1 just opened on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Looking over the odds for next season, Super Bowl 61. I know, it's already early, but I'm thinking football. I'm still thinking football here on Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports.
You always think football.
Is there a team that you see when you look at the odds to win the Super Bowl next season? That's a long shot, good odds, good value play that jumps out to you. There's a team specifically to me that I think has pretty good value. They were a team that weren't as good, weren't as successful this season as maybe people thought they would be. They didn't win their division, didn't make the playoffs. Quarterback who maybe is compared to the guy that just won a Super Bowl. Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's a team that I'm looking at. Plus 4,000 to win the Super Bowl next season. Those are long odds. Value play.
Yeah.
What do you think of that thought?
My problem with Tampa is their weapons are old. They can't stay healthy. And I need to see them.
What else is wrong?
Everything. And the problem is my pick, I have the same issue with. They can't stay healthy, and maybe they need to move their practice facility.
You're going with the Niners
in order to stay healthy. Well, I mean,
okay.
Look,
Well, so here, let me also.
I have two other picks, but the problem is I need to see what moves they make in order to solidify this pick. But the problem is if they make moves that I want them to make, their odds are going to go down. So yeah. I like the 49ers at 17-1. I think that the 49ers were decimated by injuries. I think that Kyle Shanahan is one of the best, if not the best, offensive mind in the NFL. I think that if he had his full complement of players, that team with that defense and that offense can compete with anybody, and they could have won the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm not going to argue with your pick of San Francisco. I think that's a nice pick as well.
Thank you. A nice pick.
Well, no, this is what I'm going to say. When I mentioned like a value play,
yeah,
I was like lopping off the top.
Yeah.
So like I agree. San Francisco, Detroit, jumps out at me.
I'm okay.
Detroit at
I'm
plus
go
14,
higher. I'm
plus
go
1,400. Detroit or San Francisco plus 1,700. I like both of those.
I'm going higher.
I'm just saying there's a lot of teams at the top I could see.
Yes.
When I'm saying value pick,
I'm going higher.
That's where I go with Tampa Bay.
I'm going higher. I'm not going quite 40-1. Not quite going that high. I got two teams. They fit the same bill. Okay? Fit the same bill. Great offense. They got to make some changes on defense.
Mm-hmm.
They got to get their blank together on defense.
Okay.
They got to add on defense. I need you to add. One of them, they have a defensive end. I don't know if he's going to stay. I don't know if he can stay healthy. He clearly wants out. He wanted out all year. They decided to keep him for a year, and that's Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the quarterback. They have the offense. They have a great offense. Their quarterback needs to stay healthy, and they need to figure out their blank on defense. The other one, homer pick, the Chicago Bears. They have the offense.
I knew that was coming.
No, but they were one play away from going to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
They were one play away.
It's true.
Me. You watched the game.
Would they have beaten Seattle on the road? I don't think so.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If DJ Morse doesn't stop running, that team goes to the NFC Championship game.
All right.
In Ben Johnson's first year,
I don't disagree with that.
As head coach. Now, if
they have the offense to get it done.
If they pay attention to the defense the same way that they'd revamp that offense, that team can go to the NFC Championship game next year. So I have full faith that they can. They've got a decent cap space. They don't have a lot of cap space. But if you restructure a few contracts, if you move some money around, which every NFL team can, you can find money. The cap is a myth for most teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where people say you have limited cap space until 6 different moves are made, and then all of a sudden there's cap space, and then they sign whoever.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things in the NFL that, like, okay, you can say it now, but if teams are creative enough, they can find a way.
But they have a quarterback in Caleb Williams. They have a franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams. We saw that last year, time and time again, bringing that team back from deficits in the fourth quarter to winning games late in the fourth quarter in the final 2 minutes of games. They have the offense. Ben Johnson changed the culture, brought the offense with him, and they're great. The problem is their defense. The reason they had to come back in all those games is because their defense couldn't stop anybody. If they figure out their defense, and Dennis Allen needs the players to do that, he's a great defensive mind, I think that they can do some damage. And at 25-1, I like those odds. So I like the Bengals, and I like the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cincinnati pick is a good pick because I've mentioned to you throughout this, offseason to this point that I think Cincinnati is going to be the team that I pick to go last the first. Each year we get like 2 or 3 teams that jump from last place to first place the next season. I think Cincinnati is primed for that. Obviously, the caveat with every conversation talking about the NFL
health
is that it will, and specifically to a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like if you are making a pick for the future on an NFL team, and your quarterback of your favorite team goes down and is not healthy, you're not winning the division, you're not winning the Super Bowl, you're not going to get that, you're not going to follow through with what the prediction is. That's just blanket statement for the entire conversation of football in the offseason.
Yeah.
We get it. The Bleck and Abdalla show, get it.
Yeah.
If your quarterback gets hurt, your season is ruined.
Yeah.
End of story.
Well, but the problem with the Bengals is
End of story.
That Joe Burrow can't stay healthy because of their offensive line.
Right, exactly. And I think that's why time and time again we've seen Cincinnati struggle with this style of team building is because they spent all of their money on a quarterback and 2 wide receivers. You could argue that the one quarterback and the one receiver are in the conversation as the best at the position. Mm-hmm. And then with T. Higgins, you could say you could argue he's a top 7 wide receiver in the NFL.
Exactly.
Top 5, maybe, on a good day. So Cincinnati is loaded with talent, but you called it. It's the defense. And Cincinnati needs to address the defense in the draft and also in free agency because last year they were dead last in the NFL, 32nd in defensive yards per play given up. So if Cincinnati can somehow get into the teens defensively, low 20s, Get into the 20s.
Stop anyone. Just stop someone.
Stop someone. You have a chance because you have a quarterback who's good enough. And I love the idea of Cincinnati as a sleeper dark horse Super Bowl pick at this stage.
Well, and
we're sitting here in early February to say that Cincinnati is a value pick, to say that Tampa, maybe Chicago, those are value picks. I get it right now because the odds are maximum. They're higher in that situation.
Also, I think the turnover in the division, like they have the longest tenured coach in their division.
Right.
In their division
and
right now.
We don't know how that's going to play for either franchise.
Exactly. So you've got an opportunity now. We don't know who the quarterback is going to be in Pittsburgh right now. I mean, obviously we know Lamar is going to be in Baltimore, so we know that that's set there. But we don't know what kind of coach Jesse Minter is going to be. We know that Mike McCarthy can develop quarterbacks, but we don't know who the quarterback's going to be. Right now, they're talking about Will Howard being developed into a quarterback and how they're going to be waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. So I will take my luck with Joe Burrow as the best quarterback in that division if he can stay healthy, which you have to say. And I understand we made the blanket statement about the Bleck Abdalla show, but with him, you have to say that.
But it's funny to point out because all of us listening and talking football, yes, everyone's team. If your team stays healthy, you're going to have a chance. Like, you don't think that Broncos fans don't agree with that assessment?
Yeah, obviously.
If their quarterback was there for the AFC Championship game, they likely go to the Super Bowl, and maybe we get a different outcome.
I think the only team that can say that are the 49ers, because Kyle Shanahan could just be like, nah, throw Mac Jones out there. We'll be fine.
Plug and play.
Yeah,
whoever they have, they can figure it out. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Protect small businesses with affordable coverage plans. Quote today at progressiveCommercial.com. If you want to join the show, you can call us at 310-840-4910. We go to Lewis in Lisle, Illinois. You're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up, Lewis?
Hey, good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
We're good. What do you think?
Oh, well, I've actually got some, first off, I think the Bengals are going to be eternally in poverty as long as they are grossly overpaying for two receivers. They should have only really paid for one. They can't actually afford to fix their offensive line or their defense. But the reason I called is this whole thing with you can now trade picks up to 5 years in advance. It is established that there are some teams with less than ideal GMs and ownership who have allowed some really stupid trades to go through. All of the Browns trading, 3 first-rounders for Deshaun Watson, or the Broncos trading 3 for Russell Wilson. Are there going to be any guardrails to make sure that that doesn't happen with 4 or 5 first-round picks with GMs that are on the hot seat that are doing anything they can to keep their jobs?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair point. Thanks, Lewis. Thanks for the phone call. Like, will there be guardrails to – I think it's up to the owners. The owners who have those GMs.
Yeah.
Maybe ownership makes quicker decisions on GMs on whether or not they're going to stick around, if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you know there's the potential that they can make a move that would damage the future of your franchise short term to land a star player but give up 4 and 5 year out first round picks, that kills your franchise.
Yeah, I do think that it's going to be like the NFL doesn't care. The NFL is not going to care if your GM is bad and makes a bad decision and trades, 5 first round picks for Will Howard or Mac Jones or whoever it is that, because the Steelers sign Aaron Rodgers and all of a sudden Will Howard's upset. You know what I mean? Or Mac Jones wants out of the 49ers because Brock Purdy has the job and he sees an opportunity to start. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to stop. The NFL is not going to be like, you can't do that. They just set the year parameter of like, you can't trade past year 3 right now and eventually year 5 if that's what goes through. It's going to be up to the owner to say, hey, whoa that thing, or in maybe another voice in the room with your GM to say, whoa, I don't think this is a good idea. Yeah. Maybe you need to reconsider this. And that's why GMs are supposed to have other people in the room that disagree with them. And good GMs have people in the room with them that disagree with them sometimes, and advisors and assistant GMs and stuff like that go to them and say, I don't know about this, man. This might be a bad idea.
I don't know about this, man.
Maybe we don't trade 5 future first-round picks for this guy. Well, that might not be a good idea.
That, to me, is my favorite part about the fact that NFL Films has so much access for the draft process.
Yeah.
Is that years later or 6 months later, when something doesn't work out and a GM is look to say, hey, why did you take this player? And then they go back to the footage of draft night or the day before or anything leading up to it. And it's the assistant GM and the guy helping the director of scouting being like, yeah, this is where you should go. And then the GM's like, no, but I like this guy. Yeah. I really like this guy. Intangibles. This guy. And then it's
he's got moxie.
Yeah, moxie, right? And then you go a year later, 2 years later, it's this player was a bust. And then you go back to the video and it's yeah, well, the assistant and the scouting director tried to help the GM, but the GM was going rogue.
Yeah, and it's maybe we should, and then another team looks at him and was maybe we should hire that guy, the assistant GM. He actually has some good ideas.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. The Seattle Seahawks are celebrating their championship today. They have their parade today in downtown Seattle. Schools are not allowing kids to participate. They're still holding school today. We'll talk about that next.
The NFL franchise tag window opens Tuesday, and this is where the offseason gets real. Pay them, tag them, or let them walk. We'll tell you the moves as they happen on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Seahawks fans are getting set for the championship parade in downtown Seattle today. Seattle won the Super Bowl on Sunday. Today is parade day in Seattle. What a day! Everyone loves a parade.
Do they grease the poles in Seattle like they do in Philly?
No, I think that's a Philadelphia thing only.
Do they rub it down with like fish?
No, oh, nasty! Are you
Do
kidding?
they just take like one of the, you know how they throw the fish?
Yeah,
in that
I know
market?
they. Yes.
Do they just take those fish and like rub the poles?
No,
so
they're not rubbing the poles with fish.
So people don't climb on the
what
poles.
What the hell? Why? I think that's exclusively a Philly thing.
Oh, okay.
Climbing up the poles and having to grease the poles so people don't climb the poles. Lunatics in Philadelphia. I mean, hey, when you're celebrating a championship, people will do anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, some of the things I've seen on social media throughout the past years of championship parades, but everyone should participate in a championship parade.
Absolutely.
Everyone, young and old. But today, the Seattle school districts are holding school. The hell are they doing? No, that's wrong.
Okay.
That's not right.
All right.
Who's going to go to school today?
How many?
You have a kid.
Okay.
You have a child.
First of all, she's 3, so like she doesn't go to real school. She goes to daycare.
But follow along with the hypothetical.
Yeah.
At some point, she will be older, right?
Yes.
Tomorrow, she'll be older.
Tomorrow, she will be older.
Every
than she
day,
is today.
she's getting older, right?
Every day we get older.
Adam, here, just have a moment.
Every day we're closer to death, Chris.
Have a moment with me.
Yeah.
Appreciate the days.
I got a
the small
question
things.
for you.
Well, I appreciate the days.
How many days were
time
you?
moves quickly, right?
How many?
I know
days,
you're a father. Time moves
How
fast.
many days did you miss school to go to parades when you were younger?
Well, the parades that took place, you and I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and when we were kids, there was a guy named Michael Jordan winning championships. Those parades took place in the summer.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to ditch school to go to a parade.
How many?
Because it took place.
And how many parades did you go to?
Oh, I didn't go to any.
Exactly.
But I was little.
Okay. And if they were in the winter, would you have missed school to go?
Yes.
Nope.
Absolutely.
Nope.
To be a part of it?
Absolutely not.
Look, you're a father, so this is what I'm getting to. You're telling me if Layla, a little bit older, is a sports fan, huge sports fan, huge fan in the city, and there's a championship won, and it's during school time, you're saying, no, you have to go to school? Man, you stink as a parent.
First of all.
That sucks.
First of all.
She's going to hate you for that.
First of all, it depends on the parade. It depends.
Of course,
on the
it's
sport.
a champion. I'm not saying it's your everyday Tuesday afternoon
I know.
parade.
It depends on the sport. It depends on the timing. It depends on all that kind of stuff.
This is a championship parade.
Yeah, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on a lot of things.
Well, I set out the hypothetical. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. I gave you the hypothetical, and your response is, it depends. That's not an answer.
I'm not a parade guy. I celebrated winning the championship. Like when my teams won championships, the celebration is that night.
Yeah, you get hammered.
The celebration is that evening.
You stay out all night.
The celebration is the child getting to stay up late and watching the game.
Oh my God!
There you go.
You're the worst.
That's a great parenting.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
You're limiting the fun on just staying up late the night of.
We're gonna drive all the way downtown and stand amongst the crowd just so you can see a couple buses go by. That's it? You want to watch buses?
Yes.
No.
And you're heroes.
Heroes?
They're your football heroes.
No.
Man.
No.
You're lame. No. I honestly did not. I've known you my entire life.
No.
I did not know you would be anti letting your daughter out of school.
You wouldn't have gone.
To go to
you
a parade.
Would not have gone. If those Bulls parades would have been during school, Chris Bleck would not have gone.
Okay, let's take it one more step farther. You're lightly suggesting here on today's program that a outside value pick to the Super Bowl would be the Chicago Bears winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
We are currently in Chicago.
Yes.
You're telling me you're not going to ask our bosses if the Chicago Bears win the Super Bowl to get out of hosting the show to go to the Super Bowl parade?
Well, we have to cover it.
Oh, is that it?
We're doing the show live from the parade. We're doing the show from the parade.
On the route?
Yeah, we're hosting it from the route.
That's fine by me.
That's different. We're
I'll
doing
do
our
that.
job.
I have a feeling you'll try and get out of hosting the show.
We're doing our job. No. We're doing our job.
Okay. Okay, all right.
From the parade.
Sure.
We're doing our job from the parade.
Raj, do you hear this? Raj is in Denver. Raj, do you hear this? That Abdalla is suggesting that if the Bears win the Super Bowl, we will host the show live from the parade route.
Yeah, we're doing our job from the parade.
Here. Are you going to walk along with like a Comrex in your hand and a headset?
Why not?
Mic? You're going to have a mic in your hand? You'll be riding the bus?
We'll either be from where the rally is, or we'll be on a spot from the parade.
He'll be on the bus with Colson Loveland?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm locking you in now.
Why not?
That's the case.
Absolutely.
All right.
By the way, I went through this with my wife twice this decade with 2 parades. Do we take our daughter out of school?
And
what'd you do?
We didn't, and I regret it. We took her to school, and I regret it. We should have taken her. We went to the Avalanche Stanley Cup parade and the Nuggets NBA title parade, and we had her go to school, and I regret it. Because the pictures alone, like maybe for her, she wouldn't have, but like for us to have those pictures at the parade, those would have been memories like forever that we won't have.
I'll take her.
And that's all it took was Raj saying he regretted it? That you're like,
you don't have kids. You don't count as an opinion. Yeah, Raj is a parent. He counts. You don't listen. You as a non-parent and everybody
you know what,
listening.
Abdalla, my daughter was around the age yours is now when those titles happened.
Yeah,
and we talked about it. We're like, she's young, like not going to remember this. There's a lot of people, and now I look back on my pictures from the parade, and I'm like, this sucks that she's not in these pictures with me.
Yes, you got to cherish the moments.
But Raj, as a parent, his opinion counts. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that has kids. Those without kids. No, your opinion doesn't count. You don't know what it's like.
I know.
You're not in the trenches.
I know. We get too much sleep, so we have a clear mind.
Yeah, you're not
we know how to lay out the path for you.
You don't know what goes
That's
on
what happens.
having to take a child anywhere.
Oh, I'm aware.
So what was great was
Chris
last
knows.
week Bleck was valuing sleep so much, and I kept looking over. I'm like, he doesn't have kids.
You don't have any idea what the value of sleep is.
Guys,
you don't know what this means at all.
Sleep is great. Sleep is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
I recommend.
Yeah.
I recommend for both of you. I sincerely recommend. I'd say this. Here's the one thing we can do. Those who don't, we can also help. So, like, I know, I understand. It's a whole production to get to the parade, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime situation.
That's fine. And now that she's older, and listen, I don't anticipate the Bears winning until next year when she's 4. So yeah,
okay,
when she's
see,
4,
well, there you
now
go.
Now that she's 4, yeah, absolutely, she's older.
So
she's
Bears
wiser.
win. You guys are both at the parade doing your show from there. And Abdalla, are you like pawning your kid off on Bleck? Is Bleck watching your kid while you do the show? I'm very lost in the logistics here.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
Yeah, well, she'll be around.
Yeah,
I don't know if she'll be around the broadcast. That won't work. She'll be pulling the plug on something.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. She'll participate. We can set her up.
She can be a correspondent.
Yes.
We now go live now.
I just think
none of the kids in Seattle today have this choice.
Right. And if you're the Seattle public schools, like think about the amount of goodwill you get with the rest of the community by saying Championship Day, celebrate the parade however you like. Like how great would that be? But instead saying that it's a day of school and it's not an excused absence, that's lame. That is so lame from the school district.
I'm not going to get into as someone who
I don't care.
As someone who is married to an educator,
don't care.
The logistics of having to make up that school day.
Just go to school on a different snow day or whatever you do.
Because you don't
a rain day in Seattle.
You don't get those days. Like that's not.
We're not saying
cancel
school.
It
just right. We're not saying cancel school. Just the absence
just
can
excused
be excused.
Absence.
Yeah,
excused. That's all we're asking. If you want to go.
You can't do that.
If you want to send the loser kids to school, be that parent.
You can't do that.
But if you want to be cool, if you want to be a cool dad, then you take the kids to the parade.
Then have the unexcused absence.
And then after the parade, you go to the movies.
Then
you see the next Minions movie or whatever
shows up, and it's like, wait, you're a Chiefs fan.
Here's the thing. If you want
to
be the cool parent, just call in and say they're sick. What are they going to do?
It's unexcused.
They're sick. Prove me wrong. Come here and check their temperature if you want to.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Can we get an official Bleck Abdalla Olympic update? We have our eyes on the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympiad taking place in Milan, Cortina. It's like day 4 or 5 of the Olympics. A lot of big stories, medals being won, competition in Abdalla. There is a new story that caught our eye with the Winter Olympic Games.
Yes, there is. So there was an Olympic celebration, an individual biathlon race. A Norwegian won His name is Sturla Holm Lagerud.
Of course.
When he won the bronze medal in the 200-kilometer individual biathlon race.
It's a big deal.
He was interviewed, and he chose, to speak his truth.
Okay,
when he won this. And by speaking his truth, he revealed that he cheated on his girlfriend.
Oh, all right. I guess he has the platform.
He's got the platform to say anything he wants to, and he chose to use that platform to tell the entire world that he had cheated on his girlfriend.
Well, the reason he did this is he's hoping to get her back, right?
Yes, he's hoping that during the week of
gesture.
The week of Valentine's Day.
It's a gesture of love.
Our most holiest of holidays.
Oh, is it?
I mean, to him at least.
Easy.
That he's going to, we do have a penis gate going on as well. So if he's going to do this, this is a ploy to get her back. If he professes her love and says that sports is the last thing on my mind right now, I could have won gold. But because I was thinking about you,
bronze,
and my infidelities,
sure,
I got bronze. And now she has responded.
Oh, she has a statement.
She has a statement.
Okay.
This is interesting. She said, I hope to not ruin his day, but I did not want to be the subject of attention.
Blocked.
I did not choose to be put in this position, and it hurts to have been in it. We have had contact, and he is aware of my opinions on this.
Oh, no. That's okay. It didn't work.
It did not work.
It did not work.
It did not
He's going to be alone on Saturday for Valentine's Day.
Yeah. To my friends and family who have embraced me and supported me during this time, also to everyone else who has thought of me and sympathized with me without knowing who I am, thank you.
Okay. Well, the bronze medalist in the biathlon. Yes, admitted to cheating on his girlfriend in an effort to win her back. Her response, no thank you.
Sorry, Sturla.
I will say this. I don't think our individual here, this Olympic athlete, this medal winner,
Sturla.
I don't think he's going to have a problem finding a new lady. Have you seen the photos of this gentleman?
I mean, listen, man, it's the Olympics.
Yes.
Get out to the village.
Yes.
Do some work.
I mean, we've seen the stories about the Olympic Village. I think he'll be okay. So that's our official Bleck Abdalla Olympic update. Jane Daniels, comments from the head coach of the Commanders next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
That's right, noon to 3 Eastern each and every day right here on Westwood One Sports. Live from Chicago, I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. If you want to join the show today, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Hanging out with you until 3 Eastern, also on Sirius XM channel 375. I saw this story from yesterday. It caught my eye about the Washington Commanders. Dan Quinn spoke to the media yesterday. You know, the Commanders went out and got new coordinators, offensive and defensive coordinators. And what we saw last season was that the Commanders underachieved from what they saw 2 years ago. They were essentially the darlings of the NFL 2 years ago. And last season, it was a struggle, and it also had a lot to do with the inability of Jaden Daniels at quarterback. And some of that is because of his style of play. His style of play has not changed from what he was in college. He takes a lot of hits, and that was the concern for Jaden Daniels coming into the NFL. Rookie season, he was unbelievable. Last season, he got hit. He got injured. And there was all kinds of like fluky things, like the thumb injury, which happened. And like, it just was a rough season for the Commanders. And what Dan Quinn said yesterday to the media is that one of the ideas to factor in with the decision with the offensive change and the offensive play calling that's changing heading into this season is they want to play Jaden Daniels under center more, which I think is a great idea. When we look at modern NFL offenses, having quarterbacks under center, and especially when you look at the Shanahan tree, you look at McVay, you look at the way that Ben Johnson is coaching with Caleb Williams, that under center quarterbacks allow you to manipulate the defense more because it's tougher for the defense to know whether or not it's a pass or a run play. And then you can also have the heavy formations out there on the field and then pass out of the heavy formations, out of play action. And I think that opens up so much more. And if Jaden Daniels plays under center more this upcoming season, I think it will help him as a quarterback stay healthy, which then in the long run will help the Commanders overall. And I thought it was interesting seeing that from Dan Quinn yesterday.
Yeah, his scramble rate was up 16% in 2025. So he was running more in this offense. And there was a report early in the season, or about halfway through the season, that they were not happy with I don't want to necessarily say, because this sounds like a shot at Jaden Daniels, like the speed of the offense, but it's meant at the speed in which the plays were being called and how fast they were getting to the line.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of plays that were being run. They wanted the plays to slow down. So that's not a shot at Jaden Daniels that like he can't comprehend or anything like that. It's that they wanted Cliff Kingsbury to slow the plays down, like get in the huddle, take some time off the clock, because it leads to less hits for Jaden Daniels, and it slows down the offense a little bit, and it leads to less time, and you can kind of take your time with the play and think about things, because that was the quickness of the offense was leading to more hits because he was scrambling more, 60% higher rate, and he was getting hit more, and this was leading to more injuries and more. And then obviously he missed a significant amount of time because Jaden Daniels, it's an injury concern from during the draft process, before he was picked by the Commanders going into the season, and it's a reason you and I were concerned about him going into the draft and all of that, and it's a reason why we liked Caleb Williams and Drake May ahead of him. And it's nothing to do with his style of play. I like him as a player. I think he can be a great quarterback. The problem is, and it's now true, he's injury prone. He can't stay healthy because he takes hits. If he finds a way to play and finds a new offensive coordinator, which they have a new offensive coordinator in there that can play and teach him how to play within the pocket and stay in the pocket, then maybe he can be on the same level as Caleb and May. But I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know if he can.
Well, he got out of the chute as the number one guy. Like to give you a track analogy,
like
the
NFC Championship game.
His rookie season, he was the best guy.
Yeah.
And last offseason, people were telling us that he was the best next thing in the NFL. Some people in their quarterback rankings had him like fifth, which I thought was insane last offseason. But so to what you were saying, a part of the reason why Cliff Kingsbury is no longer there is, they wanted it to slow down, but it was against what Kingsbury was asking the offense to do. Because with the Commander offense last year, the ESPN story has the plays. This is the stat. Washington ran no huddle on 1,271 plays in the past two seasons under Kingsbury. That's more than 810 more no-huddle plays than any other team in the NFL.
That's crazy.
So even though the idea would be slow down to save and to help Jaden Daniels be healthy, the way that Kingsbury ran the offense was absolute no-huddle, not under center, so shotgun, pistol formation, and they ran more than 810 more plays in 2 seasons than any other team.
Yeah.
Of no huddle football.
Yeah. And he also in
like that's insane. Well, and that goes to this chaotic nature of the offense that has led Jaden Daniels to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off at times. And it's like, if you could harness his ability with the different, genius play callers that we've seen around the league, like, you got to really wonder if the scheme could really get the most out of Jaden Daniels, because it felt like the last 2 years, the scheme under Kingsbury was set up to make him fail.
Yeah. And not only that, were they running more plays, but he, like I said, scrambling at a 16% higher rate. He also only slid 4 times on 41 scrambles.
And that's insane to me.
He's taking hits.
Oh, of course.
Like, he's taking, some of those he probably ran out of bounds too, but sometimes you're taking hits when you're running out of bounds too. You're either being pushed out of bounds, you're being hit out of bounds, sometimes you're taking late hits out of bounds. You're still taking hits. And when you're taking hits, if you're built like Cam Newton, That's fine. He's not. He's very slender. He's very thin. He's not built like that. And he's had this issue, and this was brought up in the pre-draft process, and that was always the question mark. If you're going to play like that, and you're going to take hits, and in college, you can avoid those hits because you're just better than your competition. And you're faster than your competition, and you've got better blockers than everybody else because it's college. You can avoid that kind of stuff.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I distinctly remember him playing at LSU and eluding the pocket. I think it was 2 seasons ago, season opener against Florida State, opening game. He escapes the pocket. He's like running for like a 14, 15-yard gain and gets popped.
Well, yeah,
and just taken off his feet. And it's like, dude's taking hits like that.
It's going to happen.
In the middle of, at the start of a college game. Like, I'm pretty sure that was one of those situations like, oh, man, this guy takes some hits.
But more often than not in college, you're going to avoid those.
Sure.
When you get to the NFL,
you can't.
The game is so much faster. It's the best of the best. And you're like, oh, no, I can't do this. You got to get down and slide. And when you're only sliding 4 times in 41 scrambles, it's not the concussion problems that we see with Jackson Dart and how he's in concussion protocol in 50% of his games. It's the dude's just not being able to stay on the field, and it's costing his team a chance at the playoffs.
Here's what you'd have to do, and I know that you don't have this answer, so I'm not going to try and make you put you in a spot where you don't have you would then have to take that number and look at how many times they run out of bounds, and then remove the times he ran out of bounds from the stat, because that would tell you the true number of how many times he's taking hits. Mm-hmm. And not sliding, not getting out of bounds. Because getting out of bounds is just as good as sliding.
Of course.
So he is quick enough to get to the sideline, but he's not always getting to the sideline. I would also say with Jaden Daniels, I mean, he played, 7 games last season? Mm-hmm. He had 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was sacked 18 times. It took a lot of sacks. I think this is also something that, if you're comparing Drake May and Jaden Daniels, I'm less concerned about Drake May sacks that he took last season than Jaden Daniels, the hits that he takes when he scrambles. I think it's more concerning that Jaden Daniels takes the amount of hits he does when he leaves the pocket.
They're built differently.
And that's why I'm concerned about it. I think Drake May will figure out the sack situation, but I think Jaden Daniels, a part of his game is to be, kind of like he's got the jittery ability to make people miss and make the first guy miss.
Yeah.
A lot like Lamar Jackson can do the same thing, except Lamar has that little smidge faster,
Lamar's
boost.
A bigger dude too.
Turbo boost, you know? And so when you look at it, Jaden Daniels needs to protect himself.
Well, and also look at the guy who was sacked in all their rookie years, right? Drake May, Jaden Daniels, look at Caleb Williams. Sacked the most out of any of those guys. He didn't miss a single game. He was sacked 68 times.
He's a little thicker.
That's my point.
Thicker legs.
That's my point.
He's also someone, and I think that's where you look at that draft class specifically. Caleb can run. He doesn't want to run.
Exactly.
Drake May can run, but he doesn't want to run. It feels, watching Jaden Daniels, like he wants to run.
Yeah.
He can throw, but he wants to run.
It's what makes him electric, though. It's part of his game. It's like Lamar. It's what makes him such a dynamic player.
But the Ravens are in the same exact spot.
Mm-hmm.
Why has the Ravens season been deterred in multiple situations?
Because
Lamar's not healthy.
He's hobbling to practice every week because he's getting hurt.
Or he's not even available.
Yeah.
And that's where, if you're a young quarterback and you know that you need to take care of your body first and protect yourself first, and it really, what it reminds me of is I don't want to say and compare it to other all-time greats, but it's like the Brady rules. How did Brady play quarterback, which made him so great? It was, 1, he was willing to throw the football away, live to play another down.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't turn the ball over a ton. And then 2, he didn't take hits. And I get it. People who hate the Patriots, listening to Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports, I agree. They changed the rules. You can't touch quarterbacks anymore.
Yeah.
But Brady, before the rules were completely slanted in his favor as a quarterback, he didn't take a lot of hits. He got rid of the football. He got down, and he wasn't out running around wild in the open field when a linebacker's come to take his head off.
Yeah.
And so he was able to preserve himself for an extended period of time. Peyton Manning was the same way. Peyton could run a little. You know, there's famous plays where like that play action play against the Cowboys where he's all by himself on a naked boot and there's no one within 20 yards of him scampering into the end zone. Like Peyton Manning could move a little, but the objective was in the pocket, passing, protect yourself. And if you can protect yourself and become a pocket passer, that's when you're at your best as a quarterback.
Well, look, if you want to run, look at a guy like Aaron Rodgers who runs to throw.
Yeah.
Like he runs to throw. Like he's one of the best guys that can throw on the move that's ever played. And when he does that, he's at his most dangerous because he extends plays. And when you run him out in any direction, he's his most lethal. Look at a guy like Josh Allen, who when he runs, you're like, oh no, like this guy's going to bowl some guys over because of how big he is. And when they get into the red zone, they have that dual threat because of how big he is. And he doesn't get hurt because of how big of a guy that he is, and they have that dual threat when they get into that area. And they can use that because he's such a good passer now, too. But then you look at the other side of a guy like Cam Newton, who shortened his career because that's his game. He was a runner, and he could throw, but he was primarily that running quarterback. But when that's your game, you shorten your career. And we're starting to see it with Lamar Jackson because every practice last year, during the week, Monday, he's in treatment. Tuesday, off day. Wednesday, questionable. He missed a practice. Thursday, well, he was doing some stuff on the side. We'll see. Friday, game time decision. Okay, well, he's ready. He's going to play. And it was like that every single week with Lamar Jackson. And then you've got Jayden Daniels now who missed a bunch of times. And you wanted to see the Commanders be able to replicate what they did because you went to the NFC Championship game in your rookie year. Like you wanted to be able to at least make the playoffs and replicate what you were able to do the year before. But when you can't stay healthy, and that's the only knock. Like you're an extremely talented quarterback, extremely talented, but you can't stay healthy, and that's going to be the problem, and that's going to be the knock on you moving forward. And hopefully with the new offensive coordinator, slow down the offense. Not that he can't handle anything mentally, but slow it down from a physical perspective.
Yeah, well, I think you could look at it from that angle. I just think play calling with a quarterback under center times up the rest of the offense. When they drop back to pass, it allows when you're dropping back from under center, you're turning your back to the defense, which I get for a young quarterback may feel uncomfortable because so many young quarterbacks in high school and in college are only facing the line of scrimmage. No one is turning their back to the line of scrimmage anymore. And so that is one of those aspects where it creates timing to allow your receivers to get downfield. And so when you whip your head around and you turn to look through your progressions, that's where the timing then syncs up. Where if you're in shotgun, you're just staring them down, right?
Yeah.
It's a sped up progress. And even though you don't have to move as a quarterback, you don't have the timing takes an extra beat because you have to allow the receivers to get open or to get to their spot in the route. And so I think using the quarterback underneath center creates the illusion, more times than not, that you may run the football. And that alone will then create holes for the quarterback to pass through. And I think that is why Sean McVay is so great. That is why Shanahan is so great. It's because that is what they're doing with the offense. I would even say Mike McDaniels in Miami, that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Tua was under center. And Tua is not the caliber of quarterback that Jayden Daniels is, but like that's the idea is you want the quarterback under center so then on every single play, the defense can't figure out whether or not it's a pass or a run play. That's the key. That's what you need to do as an offense. So I thought the comments yesterday from Dan Quinn talking to the media, introducing the new coordinators, and then also talking about how Jayden Daniels will hopefully expect to play more under center this upcoming season. We'll see if it keeps him healthy. It's definitely a storyline that we'll keep our eyes on because the Commanders were a disappointment this season, and I think that they're a team that people are going to expect to bounce back and to make a playoff run. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We have Stock Watch coming up next with Raj. Coming up here on Bleck and Abdalla. We'll be okay. We're going to keep it here.
Yeah, and we'll do Stock Watch in a little bit. And I think that when you look at the Commanders, that's a division that they could bounce back and try to win. And when you look at a team like that, the Eagles have kind of had a stranglehold on that. And with the turnover that they've had, the Cowboys, the turnover that they've had, I think that it's wide open for that division. I wouldn't put past anybody in that division. I think anybody can win that division. It's wide open for me. I think anybody could win.
Yeah, and I think obviously with the Eagles now jumping back into this season, we'll see what moves they make here and to figure out what the Eagles do in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys are an interesting story always. I think Dak Prescott is fantastic. And I think Schottenheimer and his offense in year 2, we'll see another step forward. But obviously the story with the Cowboys will be defense. Yeah. And I feel like that's the story with many teams where we have to figure out whether or not they are going to be the type of team that can take that jump, because if their defense can match the level that they were kind of at offensively, like Dallas could be an intriguing team. And I know they get overhyped from coast to coast about how great Dallas will be each and every season. But I do think that Dak is worthy of the attention, and he's the style of quarterback that he could fire off an MVP season. We could definitely see that if the Cowboys have team success.
Well, and you love Harbaugh, so that's a worst to first team for you. I know for sure. You think Harbaugh is going to come in, change that culture, get that team firing on all cylinders, especially with that defense. That could be a team. I don't think that team's going to win the division, but I think that's a team that could make the playoffs in the Giants. Like, that's a team that, for me, could do it for sure.
All right, we have Stock Watch coming up next here on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Bleck Abdalla, live from Chicago, hanging out with you on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. We'll take your phone calls at 310-840-4910 until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome takes over right here on Westwood One Sports. Hanging out with you, and now we go to Stock Watch, where we welcome in Raj Sharon, live in Denver, Colorado, to bring us the Stock Watch. What's up, Raj?
What's up, fellas? We ready to get those stock portfolios ready? Here we go. I caution you, okay? I'm going to go in today before. Think about what you're spending, okay? We're not just willy-nilly. You got to think of the value things are trading at today. And we're going to start off with a stock that is trending very high today. Are we buying or selling today on Victor Wembanyama, Abdalla?
Wemby. Okay. Wemby's at like an all-time high. We're talking about, is he like the best draw in sports? We're talking about like the Lakers rested their entire team last night on the
this is like Amazon stock the day they introduced Prime. Like that's where like Victor Wembanyama is today.
I'm selling because like I just think that it's at an all-time high right now. Like I'm gonna wait for other people. I'm gonna wait for this to come down a little bit. I don't know, maybe an injury, and then I'll buy me some Wemby.
Yeah, I think here's how you have to look at it, right? If you're buying the stock, your hopes are multiple championships and MVPs.
Yeah.
Will he be healthy for that?
I think
so if you're adding him to the portfolio, it's a long-term play, and you're hoping he turns into one of the greats of all time.
He's going to get at least one, right?
I think I'm going to buy Raj Wembanyama. I think I'm going to buy Wembanyama stock because I think Abdalla's right. I think he will get a championship. At some point, he'll play enough games in the regular season to be the MVP. I think that's the way this career is going to go. I don't want to be a pessimist and suggest that he's going to be injured all the time and we won't be able to see the greatness that is. So I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to buy the stock on Wembanyama.
All right, we're going to stay with you, Bleck. Now, this stock is kind of the inverse. It's down right now. It's trading very low. Are you buying or selling on Drake May after the Super Bowl?
I'm going to buy. And this is why. Even though after the Super Bowl he struggled in the playoffs and in the game itself in the Super Bowl, I'm going to buy the Drake May stock because it's a long-term play. If I was building out my quarterback portfolio, The two names that I would absolutely need in my portfolio for the long-term play, it would be Drake May and Caleb Williams, because I think both of those players will be top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL for a long time, if not top 5 players at some point. So not right now. We're gonna be patient, but I'm gonna buy the stock of Drake May.
I think I'm also going to buy me some Drake May because I think that people are down on him. They're talking about, I saw something that like the Patriots are only going to win 6 games next year because the schedule is going to get hard. Like, listen, Mike Vrabel ain't winning 6 games next year. Like, let's not get it twisted. Josh McDaniels is going to fix whatever's wrong with Drake May, and I don't think there's much wrong with Drake May. I think it's just the sacks. Fix the sacks, and that'll be fine. Fix Will Campbell. Figure that side out. Fix the sacks, and Drake May is back in the MVP conversation. So Drake May's low right now. I'm buying some Drake May. I'm investing heavily in Drake May.
All right, we're buying some Microsoft stock after Zune came out. All right, next up, Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. He's in the teacups at Disneyland, and he's about to hit free agency. Abdalla, are we buying or selling on Kenneth Walker?
Oh, wow. Sell. Get him out. Selling. Get him out. Sell all the running back stock. Sell. I'll draft another one, 32nd. I'll draft the 33rd if I have to. I know there's only 32 picks. I'll draft it with the first pick in the second round if I have to. I'll draft him with the 32nd pick in the second round. Running backs they're not a dime a dozen, but they're pretty close to it because you can have a dynamic one or you can find one in the 4th round. As long as you have a great offensive line, you can make a great running back. And Kenneth Walker was great, but they were doing it by committee for the most part. For the majority of the season, they had 2 running backs. And Kenneth Walker was great when he was getting majority of the carries when Charbonnet went down with an injury. But he was the MVP, and a lot of people thought that Devin Witherspoon should have gotten the MVP of the Super Bowl. So I'm selling Kenneth Walker. I'm selling the running backs.
Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you totally. I mean, Kenneth Walker, you're selling. You're not buying stock on Kenneth Walker. Also, the play in the flat where he couldn't swivel his hips and catch the ball in advance. He's not a good receiving running back.
Didn't Collinsworth say he's a great running back? Yeah. He's a horrible blocker and he can't catch.
Yeah, but he's a good running back when he has the rock, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell, Raj. I'm not buying the Kenneth Walker stock. No, thank you.
All right, next up on Stock Watch is a guy we talked about earlier on in the show. Clint Kubiak says they want him around, but we're hearing he could be traded. Edge rusher Max Crosby. Bleck, are you buying or selling Max Crosby stock today?
I'm going to buy. I think the reason you buy the Crosby stock is not necessarily based on where he'll land. I think he's going to be good wherever he goes. So if it's staying in Vegas and with the Raiders, I love it. I think it works. If he joins a team that needs a pass rusher to go over the top, I think Crosby could be the guy like last season with Parsons, which immediately vaulted the Packers into the Super Bowl contending conversation. So I'm going to buy Max Crosby stock. Absolutely.
I'm also going to buy because depending where he goes, if he goes somewhere where they draft well and have another stud defensive end on the other side, that could also free up some space for Max Crosby or something and free up plays for him. We're talking defensive player of the year category. This could be a great move for Max Crosby to move to a better organization that has a better defense. So I'm going to buy Max Crosby stock. I think he's only going to get better if he moves to a better organization.
All right, next up, a guy we talked a little bit about yesterday. Abdalla, no shorting the stock jokes here. Hey. Are we buying or selling on who we presume to be future former Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray? And of note, I should drop this note, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, not expected to drop until November. So are we buying or selling on Kyler Murray, Abdalla?
Black Ops 7 comes out November 14th. It came out November 14th, 2025. So he's just been playing since November, right? Is that when it came out?
Raj, are you a gamer?
I play Call of Duty. Yeah, I play it. I'm not against Kyler Murray.
COD. You play COD?
COD.
Play a little COD. I would get smoked by Kyler, though. He would kill me. Literally.
I am going to... I've never been a
Abdalla's
Kyler
on
Murray,
tape delay over here.
I've never been a big Kyler Murray fan, so I don't I know Chris is gonna buy.
I'm buying.
I
I'm
know
buying
you
Kyler
are.
Murray.
Chris
I
has
think
him with
Kyler.
Sam Darnold 2027.
I don't think he's gonna get traded. So I'm selling. I don't think this is gonna work out this year. So I'm selling. I don't think this is gonna work out this year.
I don't know if it'll work out this year, but long-term stock, I'll keep Kyler Murray in the portfolio.
This is your Dogecoin?
Yeah, why not? Because he has the talent. Like, couldn't you see right quarterback, get him into a situation? I'm trying to pull a head coach that's in a spot that needs a quarterback right now. Because, like, okay, here's the scenario. Ready? Raj, here's the scenario. That
I'm ready.
It's not going to work in New York with the Jets with Aaron Glenn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to get fired this season, and then they still need a quarterback. So it's going to be guy's going to take that job, who's going to be a quarterback guy.
Arch.
And then you're going to slot in there Kyler in the offseason, and then boom, New York City Jets quarterback Kyler Murray. He'll have success.
Ooh,
I could see it.
I like
Arch.
I could see it.
I got one for you. How about Rams as an heir apparent to Matthew Stafford?
No.
It would have to be
now.
2 years from now.
No.
2 years
It's a
from now.
long-term stock. It's a long-term stock.
McVay's
you don't think
not
Sean
putting
McVay
up-
could make him work?
I don't think McVay is putting up with a non-pocket passer. Like, he's just not. He's not. He'll draft Ty Simpson before he trades for and make Ty Simpson work before he trades for Kyler Murray.
Okay.
All right, well, here's another name that could maybe be on the move. Tua Tagovailoa. Bleck, are we buying some Tua Tagovailoa stock?
Selling.
It's very low right now.
Tua. No, thank you. I'll let Abdalla gobble up that stock because he's an Alabama fan, but not for me. I don't think Tua is going to work. I think he holds on to the ball too long. I thought he would be extremely accurate because that's what we saw in college. He's not that in the NFL. It's just I don't think Tua is going to work.
As an Alabama fan, like you said, Chris, I think I have inside information. I think I have some insider trading. Sell. You want to watch what I'm doing with Tua stock, and I am selling that stock. Like, he's just not. He's one concussion away from out of the league. Like, he's one bad play from out of the league. Like he last year he was he's always been like, remember he got bad concussion arms that one. Like, it was just scary.
Dude,
scary.
It's not even out of the league. It's
yes,
like
you don't have to say
you
it.
don't want
to
ever see it happen, but
it's bad, man. It's real bad.
It's a trading low stock, guys. Though it's low risk. It's
his
low
injury
risk.
at Alabama, where his hip came off the the bone. Like, it was bad, dude. And he was a great Alabama quarterback. I wanted him to play well. It just hasn't worked out in the NFL so far.
I love that he's a gamer and he wants to play.
He wants to go out there every game and play, but it's just not working out. I'm selling to a stock. Sorry.
And finally on Stock Watch today, Abdalla, she is currently the betting favorite to do halftime of the Super Bowl next year in Los Angeles. Are you buying or selling stock on Hannah Montana herself? You buying or selling on Miley Cyrus?
Sell.
Wait, you don't like Miley Cyrus?
No.
What?
No. As your halftime?
She's a great singer.
No, I don't need that.
What do you mean you don't need that? You don't need great singing?
That's not going to do it for me.
Wait, why are you so out on Miley Cyrus?
Because the last few halftime shows have been great. I don't need some wrecking ball coming through. Like, she's not going to be good enough.
I see what you did there with wrecking ball.
Like, it's not.
You haven't heard her new album, the one that came out last year. It's different.
It's not good enough. It's not. I'm telling you. I've heard it.
I've heard it. It's good.
It's not great. It's not good.
It's good.
I should note to you guys, some of the other favorites include Cardi B, Taylor Swift, Lil Wayne, Justin Bieber, Drake, Ariana Grande, Harry Styles, Morgan Wallen, Lady Gaga, Metallica. These are some of the betting favorites.
Everybody that wants Lil Wayne to headline the Super Bowl has not seen Lil Wayne in concert in the last 10 years. He is horrible in concert recently. Awful.
I would also throw that out there. Like, for people who are still holding on hope that Metallica will play the Super Bowl.
Metallica hasn't been good live in a decade either, man.
That's not the point I'm making.
Lars is slow.
The point I'm making is that the NFL will never go to like a hard rock band from the 80s. That's not something that they're going to do. They're only going to select pop acts and current modern day acts to grow the brand globally. That's what they're going to do with the Super Bowl halftime show. They're not going to get out your favorite band of all time. They're going to say like Alice in Chains, let's go, Super Bowl halftime show.
The one that you listed that has the most realistic chance, Raj, he has an album. He's going to have an album coming out this year. He's probably going to win a bunch of Grammys for it, and it's going to be the same trajectory as Bad Bunny was this year. It's Harry Styles.
I could see that.
That's the trajectory of everybody that did. Now, remember, the last time it was in L.A., it was Dre and Friends.
Yeah, I know. It was a compilation.
It could be another, the stuff that I've seen, it could be another, like...
Man, I'm surprised you're just so out on Miley Cyrus.
Because
he was sell like immediately, Black.
Yeah.
Because there's two ways that the halftime show goes. It either goes someone that fits I just put out a major album that went #1 all over the world, and I'm going to win 1,000 Grammys for it, like Harry Styles is going to, or it's going to be rapper and friends. So it's either going to be, I'm telling you what it's going to be. It's either going to be Harry Styles, someone like that, or it's going to be Pharrell and friends.
Okay.
That's what it's going to be.
No, thank you to that.
I'm just telling you what it's going to be.
I heard the song Happy the other day.
I'm just telling you that's what it's going to be. He's going to get the Clips out there who just won a bunch of Grammys. It's going to be. That's what it's going to be.
When you hear that song Happy from the Minions,
I understand
it's from
that.
Minions, right?
It
or
is.
is it from Trolls?
Happy
it's
is
Minions.
from
It's Minions.
Yeah.
There's not a song that drives you nuts more
I'm just
than
telling
that song.
you. That's what.
Right? Like, isn't that the song that plays like when you go to the insane asylum?
Yes.
That's the song that's playing on loop 24/7.
It's also in your local whatever supermarket.
Walgreens or your CVS.
Yeah.
Like it's just nonstop playing in the background.
Yeah.
All right, Raj, thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Bet you didn't know that Abdalla had those passionate takes on musical acts that may or may not perform the Super Bowl next year. Didn't know he hated Miley Cyrus.
It's not that I hate her. It's just not what's going to happen.
Bleck Abdalla is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. So yesterday we heard from Clint Kubiak, who's introduced as Raiders' new head coach, and he said something yesterday that warmed my heart. And it asked the question whether or not you should be happy as a sports fan when your rivals improve. We'll talk about that coming up next.
The season's over, but the NFL news never stops. Training camp hits in 154 days. And yes, we're counting. The NFL lives here on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You can listen to us on SiriusXM Channel 375. Yesterday, Clint Kubiak met the media. And when he met the media as new Raiders head coach Abdalla, something that warmed my heart was the way he talked about the history of the Raiders. I mean, in the AFC, they're one of the legendary teams. You got Steelers, Raiders. The Patriots have now entered that conversation. The Broncos have had success over multiple decades. But the Raiders, as of late, have been bad. It's been quite some time since the Raiders have been a stable, good franchise.
Yeah.
But like, if you're diving into the NFL Films archives, the Raiders are one of those classic AFC teams.
Yeah.
And so to hear Clint Kubiak talk about the Raiders, the silver and black, like that, it's cool that at least he's aware of the history of the team. Now he has to go out there and win. The one thing that I think that is fascinating is when you look at the Raiders and you look at the teams in their division, Kansas City, Denver, the Chargers, like, do teams really fear the Raiders now that they have Clint Kubiak? I doubt that they do. They're going to have the number one pick. We'll see what happens with Las Vegas. But it asks a larger question. We were talking to Raj off air yesterday about this because Raj is a die-hard Broncos fan. Raj produces the show. He lives in Denver. He joins us each and every day here on the program from Denver, Colorado. And his team, he doesn't really view the Raiders as a big-time rival, right, Raj? You don't view the Las Vegas Raiders as your number one rival, right?
No, they've been bad for most of my life. Like, I mean, I would hear the stories from like my parents of how cool the rivalry was like in the 70s and stuff, but during my life, it's been the Patriots and the Chiefs. Like those are the teams I would consider the Broncos rivals because the Raiders have just kind of been irrelevant.
So the question that came out of the conversation we were having yesterday, Abdalla, is as a fan, no matter who your favorite team is, do you want your rival to be good? Because then it would create better matchups when you face off in whatever the sport, whatever the situation. We're talking football specifically.
Yeah.
So usually it's a team in your division. If they're good, does it make for a better rivalry?
I think that it depends. You want the rivalry to be competitive, or else it's not a rivalry. Like, you want the games to mean something. You and I, broadcasting the show out of Chicago, you and I are lifelong Bears fans. We would say our rival are the Packers, and for the last 20 years, the Bears have been the hammer, or the nail to the Packers' hammer. And it seems like this year, there's been a shift where the Bears beat the Packers, 2 out of 3 times this year, and it was great. And they beat them in the playoffs, and it was great. And it was fun. And it seems like there's a hatred now between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur, and that should be a rivalry, hopefully, that goes back and forth. And that's fun because there's trash talking, and that it's a very close rivalry because the states are very close, and there's Packers fans that live in Illinois, and there's Bears fans that live in Wisconsin, and it's very close-knit rivalry.
Yeah.
And I think that it's better when it's not just, here comes our butt whooping, it's not fun.
No, of course it's not. But
it's more fun, I think, when
you're the team that's doing
exactly
the whipping.
Yeah, and I think that
I don't think teams care when they're just beating up on a team.
No, and I think it's weird to say we want them to be good. Like, I would like the Packers to be good, but I think that memories are created when those games happen in big time situations,
and they matter.
And specifically in the playoffs. Like, when you get that third game, like the Seahawks and the Rams might not be rivals, right? The Seahawks and the Rams wouldn't be considered rivals, right?
Why not? They're in the same division.
Exactly. But they're in the same division. But I don't think you'd go up to a Rams fan and be like, "Who's your rival?" They're not going to say the Seahawks.
Yeah, I would guess it's more San Francisco.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that, and especially now that I'm guessing that's the case.
But now, if they go back and forth for a while, and these games matter, and they'll start to eliminate each other in the playoffs, then this is when you form a rivalry.
I think the perfect example of that is look at, if you ask someone, what is the best rivalry in the NFL in modern times? Modern time, last 25 years, what's the best rivalry in the NFL? I think what most NFL fans would say would be Pittsburgh, Baltimore.
Yeah.
And why? Well, the reason is both teams have been very good for a very long time, so the divisional games matter, and they've met in playoff situations and or in games to get to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that makes your point clear. That's why, you as a Bears fan, seeing the games this year, the reason the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers this year was exciting, compelling television was because finally the Bears were actually decent.
Yeah.
So the games were competitive and they meant something. And I think the same would go if the Raiders turned it around and they were good. I think Raj would probably feel differently about Raiders-Broncos because now the Raiders are cooking with gas. Usually, in the last 20 years, they haven't really been that great. So I think that's why if there's a team in your division that you don't really have much of a rivalry with, it's probably because that team's been bad. I'm guessing most people in the NFC North have not really viewed the Detroit Lions as a rival.
No.
Because for their history, they have not been good. Now, as of late, really good the last couple of years. So they're in the conversation with the Packers and the Vikings and the Bears, and it's great. It's awesome. Long time standing history there. But for the most part, the last 40 years, Detroit has not been good. A couple pop-up seasons here and there, but that's about it. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. I want to point this out. I saw this online, Abdalla, and you know how there's a lot of trends online about kids and people who are like trying to throw back to the 90s.
Yes.
There's a lot of trends online. Like people are watching shows from the 90s. People are trying to live their life like the 90s sometimes. Like I remember a day back in the day where I would go to the mall and just hope that my friend Adam Abdalla would meet me at the mall, and we'd have no communication outside of the original conversation on the phone saying, "Hey, I'll meet you there at 5." And then it just, you meet them there at the mall at 5.
And if they weren't there,
and you just go about your day.
Maybe something happened, maybe it didn't.
I don't need 50 texts going back and forth. Hey, I'm on my way in my car. I hear
Where
it.
Are you late?
But there is something online about trends that are not that great that people may have forgotten about from the 90s. Like this one. How about this? Do you remember getting home from school when you were a kid and being locked out of your house and having no way to contact your parents or to get into the house?
It was awful. You'd have to either go to a neighbor's house or you would just hang out outside. You'd hope that there was like a loose basketball maybe that was left outside, and you would just play basketball for a little bit until you'd see the car pull up and you'd be like, thank God.
You also, like, in your head, like as a younger kid, you're like trying to think, like, how do I break into my own house?
Yeah, you start testing windows and you're like, nope.
I think the basement has a window well that maybe I shimmy open the window and get in there. How about this? Do you remember Blockbuster Video?
Oh, yeah.
The late fees at Blockbuster Video for not rewinding the tapes?
Gotta rewind that tape. Yeah, I remember that some people, I remember this going to people's houses, and I always found this fascinating. Some people had a rewinding machine.
I remember that.
Some people had a machine specifically for rewinding tapes, and I was like, the VCR does that. Like, why do you need a machine? It does it so much faster. And why do you need a separate device for this?
Absolutely. Cigarette smoke was everywhere. You could smoke indoors and on planes. Everywhere.
That's a bad one. I don't necessarily miss the headaches from that. Like that, I don't miss.
What if you called me to, we're kids, you called my house and my parents pick up?
Well, you just hang up right away sometimes. That was only when you were calling a girl, though. I feel like that was you call a girl and their parents late at night and their parents pick up and you just go, nope, and you hang up. And that was before caller ID.
Absolutely. It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Coming up next, Max Crosby, where will he land this offseason? We'll talk about it next.
This is Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
This is Bleck and Abdalla on Westwood One Sports. Here's Chris Bleck and Adam Abdalla.
Bleck and Abdalla on the air until 3 Eastern, and then Jim Rome will take over right here on Westwood One Sports, live from Chicago. I'm Chris Bleck along with Adam Abdalla. You can listen to us on SiriusXM channel 375. And if you want to join the show today, you can call us. Our phone lines are always open at 310-840-4910. Bleck and Abdalla with you for the next hour until Jim Rome takes over here on Westwood One Sports. Lots to talk about here in the NFL today, Abdalla. There's a lot of breaking news that we got our eyes on. We're going to address Max Crosby, the things that were said yesterday in Vegas in regards to whether or not the Raiders will trade Max Crosby this offseason. But also, we do have news in the NFL breaking in the last few minutes. The 49ers and the Rams, we know that they will play in Melbourne, Australia, to take place during the season.
Yeah.
We have reports now that game will take place week 1.
Yes.
And there's a good chance that game will take place Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, so according to John Alrand of Puck.com and Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk, that game will take place week 1. They're still deciding if that will take place Labor Day weekend. It makes the most sense because then they have enough time to fly back. It's a 16-hour flight to get back there, and then they have to get acclimated and then play the week 2 games. So that would make the most sense. There is, obviously that weekend is usually reserved for college football.
Oh, yes, it is. That's the opening of college football each and every year.
So there's one college football scheduled for Sunday of Labor Day weekend. This is on Pro Football Talk. Notre Dame against Wisconsin at Lambeau Field.
Ooh, baby, that's a good one.
If that's a night game, Sunday afternoon could be open for 49ers and Rams. But we know, like I told you yesterday, and I often tell you, Chris, the NFL doesn't care. So whether they play it at night, whether they play it during the day, whether they play it at 5 a.m., people are going to wake up and watch or stay up late and watch.
Okay, I got to figure this out. I watch the one thing that's kind of strange about me is I watch a lot of tennis. You know, like not a lot of guys, not a lot of people are watching a lot of tennis. I love watching tennis. The Aussie Open just happened. So for the game to take place at night there, it would not be possible because the game would then air at like 2, 3, and 4 a.m. in the morning here in the States.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be a night game there. It would have to be an early day game, so then it airs late at night here in the States. I'm guessing that's the best way to do it. So you could have it be a late night game. You could have the game be played over there where it syncs up where 9 o'clock Central.
So if you played
10 o'clock on the East.
Okay, so hold on. If you played on 11 a.m.
There's a 19-hour time difference.
If you played an 11 a.m. game in Melbourne, that would be 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So it would have to be an early day game.
It's 11 a.m.
No, I know. And that's why I'm saying is like from watching the Aussie Open is that there are matches that you can watch during prime time here in the States at night, but those are like early day games.
Okay, so 11 a.m.
matches.
That's
right?
not bad, yeah.
But when you get to the semifinals,
they're at
those
night
are
there.
prime time events in the location where they're broadcasting from. And so those are airing here in the States at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Eastern time.
Yeah.
So like, it would have to be an early day game
so
in
even
Melbourne.
if they did noon there, it would be 8 o'clock Eastern, which is a normal
so they could do that.
For
they could certainly do
for
that.
an NFL game to start.
On the Sunday before the week the games start. And I think that's the thing that Florio points out in Pro Football Talk is that if they place the game on week 1, then it would put the teams in a bind getting back to the States to then prep for week 2 of the season. You're not going to give a team a bye after week 1. That's stupid. That's insane. But you're right. If you build the bye in with the idea that they're going a week early, I'm okay with that. I'd be okay with that. Listen, it's college football weekend, but if you got to plop an NFL game on the schedule, we're not going to complain if we get 2 football games on that Sunday, one being Notre Dame, Wisconsin, the other being Rams, 49ers.
I don't mind.
Like, I'll take that.
I don't mind that look, the issue isn't that it's a college football Sunday or whatever. The issue is that we're playing a game in Melbourne and we're trying to figure out a 16-hour whatever time difference.
I'm sitting here being like, well, I watch tennis.
And it's a 16-hour.
So when the matches for the tennis matches are taking place.
There's 16 hours ahead of New York City, and we're trying to figure out the flight times and how they're going to get a week ahead, an extra bye week. And this proves.
I don't care about the flying situation. If Tirico can go from the Super Bowl to Milan to broadcast the Olympics, anyone can do it, Abdalla. Anyone can. Don't look at me. Anyone can do it.
The fact that we're having to figure all this out is just ridiculous. For the players to want to do this, and when we talked to super agent Lee Steinberg at the Super Bowl last week, I asked him, do the players complain about this to you? You're their agent.
Yeah.
Do they say to you, can we negotiate? Can I put this in can we negotiate this or anything? And he was like, they complain all the time. They don't want to do this. You think they want to play a game in Melbourne? You think they want to travel to Melbourne, Australia for a 3-hour workday?
No.
And then fly all the way back?
And I'm guessing there's side events
of course
because
they do.
It's a big event that they're going to a new market, they're going to a new country.
Of course there's going to be. You think they want to do all that stuff for a 3-hour game?
No,
they don't want to do that.
Absolutely not.
This is ridiculous.
So that's the news. Rams 49ers, the game will be week 1. The specific date has not been released or confirmed, but from what was it, Puck and then Pro Football Talk, they're both reporting that they think it will be the first weekend of college football, which is Labor Day weekend. And I would actually say, as someone who's I feel like Labor Day weekend kicks off with a bang. Like, a lot of people take the Friday off. Saturday is great. I always feel like by the time you get to Sunday night of Labor Day weekend, it's like you're ready to watch some football.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. Like, all the parties are kind of done. It's like you've had your fun out for the final big weekend of the summer type thing.
Yeah.
And it's like by the time you get to Monday, it's always like people are already like partied out.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like Labor Day is all about.
I can
it's
see
like
that, yeah.
by the time you get to Sunday night, it's like, all right, I'm not going out Sunday night. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna watch football. It's great that we have the day off tomorrow, but I'm glad that like we have football on tonight. So a second game on that night would be cool.
I don't mind it at all. I agree with you.
Yesterday, the Raiders spoke to the media because Clint Kubiak was introduced as their head coach. Mark Davis and Clint Kubiak talked about Max Crosby. Max Crosby is going to be one of the biggest names talked about here in the offseason about whether or not he will be moved. Last week, Jay Glazer reported that Crosby doesn't want to be with the Raiders anymore. He's ready to move on. And yesterday, Mark Davis and also Clint Kubiak talked positively about Max Crosby being a Raider and that they want him to be a Raider moving into the future. I think when you lay that all out, I'm guessing the Raiders are still going to field calls from teams offering multiple first-round picks for Max Crosby in this offseason.
Yeah, and I think they should. And I think it would be best interest of the Raiders to move on from Max Crosby. When you want to have your franchise quarterback and build around your franchise quarterback, what you assume is going to be a franchise quarterback. I don't think they're selecting Fernando Mendoza and thinking he's going to be a bust. He's the only worthy quarterback of being the number one pick in this draft, and you're kind of stuck if you're the Raiders. You need a quarterback. He's there, so you're going to take him. And you want to surround him with as much talent as possible. So if a team is willing to give you 3 first-round picks, because Max Crosby already has a contract. So this isn't a situation where you're trading a couple first-round picks and then you also have to give him a contract. The contract is there. So yes, you're paying the contract, but you don't have to negotiate. You don't have to sit down with him and say, here's an extension. We have to sit down with your agent and negotiate. Yep. All of that is taken care of. He's going to be 29 years old at the start of next season, so he's still got a lot of years left in his prime. He had 10 sacks this year. He had 7.5 last year, but the year before that he had 14. So he's going to be, he's still in his prime. He's still got a lot of good years ahead of him. I think a team will give 3 first-round picks, which is the most you can give right now. You can give a first in the next 3 years. Now, the league is discussing a change to that rule where you could give up to 5 years worth of picks that could affect what teams, depending on when this rule change happens, depending on what teams could offer for Max Crosby. But the point is, the Raiders would be best served to trade Max Crosby because you can build up your offensive line. You could get some good weapons for Fernando Mendoza. And I know the best way to prop up a young quarterback is with a good defense. But when you're the Raiders and you're the worst team in your division, having a good offensive line and protecting him and building with not just one good defensive piece, but a solid defense all around is probably the better option. And having 2 first-round picks the next 3 years is the much better option than having a disgruntled Max Crosby sit around. You know that
I don't like to look at what other teams are doing in the division and suggest that you need to work off of the success that you're seeing in the division and be afraid of what they're accomplishing. But I think what would lay into that idea is that the Raiders will not win the Super Bowl next season. Mm-hmm. They're also not likely to win their division next year. There are 3 really good teams in their division: Kansas City, Denver, and the Chargers. Those 3 teams, I think, are so much more advanced at this point that you're right. It would be smart for the Raiders to take draft capital and to build for a long-term sustained progression than say, all right, we're just going to keep Max Crosby. Hopefully we draft Mendoza. He turns out to be good, and then boom, we're going to be a good football team. They need a lot more than just one quarterback to be great. Mm-hmm. And I know that the moment you send away Max Crosby, you're going to be looking for a stud edge rusher. But if you could get 2 or 3 first-round picks back for him, that could really help the build of this team as they kind of set on a new path. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's what's better served for the Raiders moving forward. And I think that when you have a guy running the show like Tom Brady, I think that he can hopefully see that like the long-term success of this franchise is better than getting, the most out of Max Crosby the next 3 years or however long, he's under contract. And if they're not successful until 2030, the next 4 years he's under contract, he might bolt after that.
And if you don't think you're going to be ready to compete in the next 4 years, and it's the NFL, you can go worst to first any year or be ready to compete for the playoffs in 2 years. That's fine. But what are you going to do now to build up this team? If you're not building it, quote, the right way through the trenches and offensive line and defensive line,
right?
Yeah, you could be spend the next 4 years looking for the next Max Crosby, but you could also have 2 to 3 key pieces on your offensive line locked up. You could have a defensive tackle locked up. You could have cheap pieces around that when, hey, guess what? In 2 years, we've figured out our cap space. We can go and get the best defensive end that's on the free agent market because we don't have Max Crosby on our books, and we've got a franchise quarterback that we have that's cheap because he's on his rookie deal, and we have our cap space figured out because we're not paying offensive linemen because they're on their rookie deals, and we have defensive tackles that are on their rookie deals, and we can go out and spend money on a wide receiver, and we can spend money on the flashy things that you can spend money on because we traded Max Crosby and we used those picks wisely, and we're not spending money, so now we can spend on flashy things that because we've used our cap wisely.
Yeah, and when you look at Max Crosby specifically, it's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Crosby is a player that I think still has a lot left to give. He doesn't become a free agent until 2030. There is a potential out after the 2028 season. But with that said, the fact that entering next season, he's 29, he's under contract for 3 more seasons, a team that would be trading for Crosby, they're getting a hell of a player who's also under a deal. Mm-hmm. So this isn't a situation where it's like a rental or you would have to be giving the player a new contract after you give up draft capital. You know what you're getting in this situation as far as his contract. Now, I'm sure there would be a restructuring and he may want more years tacked on or whatever you can do to lower the cap hit. That's possible. That usually takes place when big name players get traded in the NFL. But I do think there's a lot left that Crosby has to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. And especially for teams that are just like right there, they need just a little bit more. Like Buffalo, would they want an edge rusher, right? Like teams that are right there who have a chance to be a championship level team. You mentioned earlier today, Chicago. They're a team that needs an edge rusher. We saw what Green Bay did last year. Being able to trade for Micah Parsons immediately turned the Green Bay Packers from a team hoping to make the playoffs to a team that was deemed a Super Bowl contending team heading into the season. It didn't work that way by the time we got to the end of the season for Green Bay.
Yeah.
They struggled down the stretch run, and they dealt with injuries, and Micah was out. But once Micah Parsons is healthy, and he's expected to be back by at least the 3rd week of this upcoming season, at least by October, the Green Bay Packers are going to be in the conversation as a Super Bowl contender next year. So Max Crosby, I don't think he's as good as Micah Parsons, but he's pretty close. He's pretty close.
Yeah, no, look, he's not
Myles Garrett. He's not Micah Parsons.
He's not Micah Parsons.
But he might be the guy you named 3rd on the list of best pass rushers in the NFL.
He's easily top 5. Easily top 5. And when you have a top 5 pass rusher, it instantly changes your defense no matter who he goes to. If he goes to the Bears, Lions, Bills, whoever it is, whoever can afford to slot that into the cap space and move around some money to fit that in there and can afford the draft capital to make that move, and it is, courageous enough to trade 3+ first-round picks, I think would be making a great move. Because if you can say you're drafting Max Crosby for the next 3 years, I think you would do it.
There's an interesting name out there that the Pittsburgh Steelers are willing to wait for their quarterback position for next season. We'll tell you that name coming up next.
Next year's biggest NFL story starts now.
Westwood One, baby!
We're getting the first reps of next season. Buckle up. The road to Week 1 just opened on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Who's the mysterious quarterback the Steelers are willing to wait for this offseason? It's Aaron Rodgers. But to be honest, I was surprised by that. The news and the report from Mike Florio on Pro Football Talk is that a source told him during Super Bowl week last week that the Steelers are willing to wait for Aaron Rodgers because they want him as their quarterback next season. That to me was surprising. I thought that Pittsburgh would be ready to move on and to go find someone else, but now that you bring Mike McCarthy in as the head coach, the Pittsburgh Steelers want Aaron Rodgers to return as their head coach.
How is that surprising to you?
Because I think that the way the season ended, I thought everything was leading to Aaron Rodgers retiring.
Okay.
And that was the end. And then that was it.
Who else do they...
Well, you either would have to go out and try and figure out with a free agent situation, or you draft someone, which I get it. First-round quarterbacks aren't going to be the thing, but at some point you have to go in a different direction. I'm surprised that they want Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
That's what's surprising to me is they want as their number one option for this season Aaron Rodgers to be their quarterback. Okay. That was surprising to me.
This is a team that brought in Mike McCarthy, who has the same playoff and track record as John Harbaugh. Don't get it twisted. Don't forget that.
I'm not twisted.
I'm not letting you forget that. The guy that you put on a pedestal, John Harbaugh, has the same playoff record, Super Bowl wins, and numbers as Mike McCarthy.
All right. Fantastic.
And one guy can develop quarterbacks, and one guy is a special teams coach.
All right. So much shade to Giants fans.
I'm just letting you know. One guy can develop quarterbacks, and one guy is a special teams coordinator. Okay? And what you want to do if you're Pittsburgh, a playoff team, is continue that standard. Will Howard does not continue that standard, no disrespect to Will Howard. Mason Rudolph does not continue that standard. No disrespect to Mason Rudolph. And if you go by Field Yates' latest mock draft on ESPN.com, and I am an Alabama fan and I watched every snap of his, I will tell you this, Ty Simpson does not continue that standard. There's one guy and one guy only, and Mike McCarthy said he already had conversations with him during his introductory press conference as Steelers head coach, and that is Aaron Rodgers, and that is the guy that Mike McCarthy developed. That is the guy that he already has a relationship with, albeit a prickly one at the end of his tenure in Green Bay, but that has all been mended. That has all been fine. They're good together now. So if you've got someone coming in, if you're going to be the head coach of the Steelers for however long he's going to be there for, if you're Mike McCarthy, you've got an opportunity to do two things at once. Because we know Aaron Rodgers isn't going to help you develop anybody. He's not going to teach anybody anything.
Nope.
You've got an opportunity to have someone who knows your system because he's been a part of it before. You can win now. You can make the playoffs. You already did with Aaron Rodgers. He didn't have a bad season. He had good numbers. You can make the playoffs, and at the same time, you can draft Ty Simpson if you want to. You can draft a quarterback, any quarterback you want to. You've got your pick of second-tier quarterbacks to Fernando Mendoza. If Trinidad Chambliss comes out and you want him, sure. If you want any of these guys, you want Carson Beck, draft Carson, whoever you want. If you think you can develop it. If you like Will Howard, take your time with Will Howard. Whoever you want. This is the best of both worlds because you can win now and develop, and someone can learn from Aaron, can sit and watch Aaron Rodgers and learn from him.
Sure. Yes.
And watch Aaron Rodgers. It's the best of both worlds.
So the story on Pro Football Talk from Mike Florio says, per a source with knowledge of the situation, the Steelers definitely want quarterback Aaron Rodgers to return in 2026. It's not a ploy to make Rodgers think they want him while hoping he doesn't return. They want him to return. And here's the kicker, per Florio. There's no hurry. They're in no hurry to get Rodgers to decide right now, because then Florio goes on to write that Will Howard could be the guy that gets the first team reps if Rodgers is still not participating or still figuring it out. I would hope, though, for the Steelers, for Mike McCarthy, for Aaron Rodgers, that he would decide earlier in this offseason than he did last season.
Yeah.
So he could be there for the offseason programs. That they could kind of build something. It's a new offense. It's a new coaching staff coming in. I get familiar to Rodgers because he was with McCarthy previously, but if he's there setting the tone early, it's only going to benefit the Pittsburgh Steelers in the long run this upcoming season. Again, the reason I thought that this was a surprising story was the fact that, as Florio writes it on Pro Football Talk, they want him to return, and they're in no hurry of getting an answer from Aaron Rodgers because he's their number one guy. At this stage of Rodgers' career, that's what's surprising to me. That's it.
I think that the way things went down last year, because you saw the same things from Aaron Rodgers, that he was upset with his receivers for not being on the same page. Like, it's a classic Aaron Rodgers. He gets there late, has issues with receivers and the offense, and it's like, dude, then get there early. Like, get there on time.
Did we figure out throughout the entire NFL season, did anyone find out if he actually has a wife?
Okay, with this again. What do
you mean with this again?
We're talking ball here.
Well, I'm talking ball.
This is not, no, you're talking two balls here. Like this, one ball doesn't matter about the other ball, okay? We're talking football.
Well, I'm just saying, Aaron Rodgers is he beats to a different drum. Is he actually married, or is he just wearing a wedding ring to act like he has wisdom and knowledge of a married man?
I thought that the story came out that someone confirmed that he is married, but they hadn't met her.
It didn't. Isn't there a podcast for like Sports Illustrated where, like Charlotte Wilder, she they figured it out they figured out who it could be, but they didn't want to like blow up anyone's spot. Yes. So like the woman doesn't want to be known.
Yeah.
So they're just letting it be.
Yes.
All right. Shout out to them. They did the investigative reporting to figure out that she's actually real.
Yes.
All right. Congratulations, Aaron Rodgers. Not as strange as we thought he was if he had a fake wife.
Okay.
That would be weird.
And now he gets to take his time with his decision and discuss his future with his wife, Brittany with an I.
Yes, Brittany with an I.
And a little heart over the I.
Of course.
I assume.
Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. We go to Bradley in Bakersfield. You're on with Bleck Abdalla. What's up?
Hey, we're doing good. Hey, you guys. Okay, I'm in Bakersfield, and my sports announcer on Channel 29 has been talking about Derek Carr put in his name again, and I think it'd be beautiful for Rodgers to teach him like he taught Love. Teach him.
Okay,
all right,
Bradley. Thank you for the call. Call again. All right, my man.
Oh, I'm going to try to. I keep going. We had a big storm yesterday, but it's beautiful today. All right, guys.
Wonderful.
Be careful.
All right. Thank you, Bradley in Bakersfield, listening to Bleck Abdalla out in California. Love it. The local television channel suggesting Derek Carr as an option to put his name in the ring because maybe he could, as Bradley tells us, maybe he could learn from Aaron Rodgers.
Well, again, Aaron Rodgers ain't teaching anybody anything. Derek Carr last played in 2024. He played in 10 games. He had 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions.
Wasn't there another team that was linked to Derek Carr in the last couple days? Didn't someone else report something in the last couple days suggesting that Derek Carr should unretire and be the quarterback for that team in the upcoming season?
It was the Saints, wasn't it?
Well, that's where he was previously.
I know, yeah.
All right.
I thought it was the Saints. And then I just looked up Derek Carr, and it's the Raiders, it's the Jets, and it's the Saints are mentioned here. So it's all the bad teams.
Yeah, Raj messaged us that there's a story out there from NFL.com that possibly Derek Carr could unretire for the 2026 season.
I mean, that's an option. You could go with that for the Steelers, too. Like any grizzled vet could go. But the familiarity of Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers, it's what's intriguing. And the fact that he was asked about it instantly because Rodgers was there last year in the press conference, and that, like, he spoke glowingly about him and said that they had already talked. Like, he could have danced around it or just said, well, we like the quarterbacks in our room and that's a discussion for me and ownership or whatever. No, he openly said, we've talked about it and it's something that we're looking at. Like, dude, like, you are not hiding anything about your interest in Aaron Rodgers. You've given Aaron Rodgers all of the cards. Like, you've given him all of the hand in this situation.
It's Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. You know, this weekend is the NBA All-Star Weekend. Saturday, we have NBA All-Star Saturday night, the three-point contest, the Shooting Stars contest, the Slam Dunk contest all takes place on Saturday. Sunday, we have the All-Star Game, which is it's a Stars and Stripes versus the World situation.
At least it's a game.
Yeah, well, it's multiple games. It's multiple games. There's going to be 3 games and then a championship game. It's convoluted.
At least it's something better than the NFL.
And then Friday, you get the Rising Stars game, which is always kind of fun.
Okay.
The NBA has a lot going on this weekend. It's a marquee event of the NBA season. And with that, the NBA is going to have a lot of people, a lot of famous people participating in the celebrity game, and then also a lot of influencers infiltrating the festivities.
Is that why they're called influencers? Because they infiltrate?
Yeah, no, yes, and they try and influence.
Okay.
Yes.
Why are they? What?
I don't know. You have the story. There's apparently the story is that there's a lot of influencers that are going to participate.
You told me that a bunch of influencers were going to be
yes,
that were invited and that were given
to All-Star Weekend.
All-Star Weekend and given credentials.
Yes, credentialed influencers.
Press credentials. And I said, "What?" So I did a quick Google and I Googled NBA All-Star influencers, NBA influencer game, All-Star game to see what would come up, and I found an article from Pro Football Network. It was the first article that came up. I just clicked on it.
Pro Football Network,
not Pro Football Talk.
Got it.
I just clicked on it.
Okay.
And it said the NBA, here's the headline here, the NBA world rips the league's decision to invite 200-plus influencers to All-Star Weekend.
You can't invite the influencers to your party.
You can't have it.
What's going to happen?
These are people, the NBA world. So media people, reporters, people in the media that cover the game for a living. People like you and me that talk about the game. That we're not influencers.
No,
we have no influence on anybody.
We just want to watch some ball.
We just want to watch ball and talk about ball
hoops.
here. Yeah, that's all we do.
That's all we care about.
So they said people are not happy about this. Okay,
who are the people? Like players or like
media
other
members.
Grizzled vet reporters?
Everybody, people that talk ball, and we talk ball here on Westwood One. And so I was reading this article here, and there's a quote.
Okay, quote.
From Carlos Ortiz.
Carlos Ortiz.
Carlos with a K, producer for Westwood One Sports.
Carlos with a K?
Carlos with a K.
Our very own?
Our very own.
Is quoted in the article you found?
Quoted in this article.
Talking about influencers at NBA All-Star Weekend?
Producer for Westwood One Sports commented, I used to love the NBA. And I have to edit myself here because he used a bad word, Chris.
Oh, no. Carlos with a K.
I used to love the NBA. BS like this is why I can't remember the last time I locked into the All-Star game, let alone a regular season game.
Oh, no.
The NBA is cooked.
Oh, what? Carlos with a K.
Carlos with a K. The NBA is cooked.
Our very own. Produces here on the network, Westwood One Sports.
Carlos with a K declaring the NBA cooked.
That's amazing.
Quoted on Pro Football Network of all places.
What is going on?
Member of the media, Westwood One Sports, Carlos with a K.
Carlos with a K.
Using such language.
The NBA is cooked.
I had to edit.
And it's BS.
It's BS like this will not be tolerated.
I hope Josh cooks Carlos with a K on the weekend. When he's producing for Josh on Sunday, like I hope that this is brought up.
I'm sending this to the producer chat.
Please send that off. That Carlos with a K is referenced and quoted in this story that you found talking about influencers at NBA Weekend. NBA All-Star Weekend. I mean, I think that's so funny. That's hilarious. We need an official statement from Carlos with a K.
I want it. It's so funny.
I do think, like, I love the All-Star game, but the problem is the NBA has just totally chopped and screwed with everything in a bad way of what the All-Star game used to be. East and West, boom, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Trying to, like, the TikTokification of the NBA where you're, like, trying every little gimmick under the sun to get the attention of someone is not why people love sports.
No, it's not.
So I get it. It may be boring to some, and maybe there's no defense being played, but the historical reference to each and every year being different in the NBA, we already have a watered-down regular season. Now you have an all-star event where no one will remember anything from it because you have team stars and stripes, and then the world team, and then they play 3 games, and the best of the 3, then someone plays in a championship game. It's not, like, it may be okay in the moment. I'll be willing to watch it on Sunday and to see and to try it out. But I think a part of what, as a sports fan growing up, was cool is I can remember the different years and the players who were on the different teams and to call back to that. And when you mix up all the rosters and then you have rivals who are playing together and all this, like, it just feels messy the way the NBA handles All-Star Weekend now.
Well, they just try to get, to go viral. Everything tries to go viral. Like, everything has to be a moment. Everything has to be, oh, look at this viral moment. Look at this viral moment. Look at what DJ Khaled did this and Justin Bieber did that. And like, they try to do, and with the celebrity game, and half the celebrities are people. We went through the list. People I've never heard, you and I have never heard of, because they're just trying to bring internet stars into this, and they mess with the actual All-Star game itself instead of just having a game like when it was in Chicago and they introduced the Elam ending to try to have like an actual game that mattered.
That worked.
The players tried. The players tried at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it mattered. Like, that was good. And like, just leave it. And like, the dunk contest is what it is. It's watered down now. It's not very good. The 3-point contest is still good. Like, that's still fun to watch.
Yeah. You know why? Because it's simple. Everyone gets it. You make 3-point shots and you name the person who makes the most as the winner. Bleck Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. Victor Wembanyama last night had 40 points in 26 minutes against the Lakers. Is he the best show in sports? That's next.
The NFL franchise tag window opens Tuesday, and this is where the offseason gets real. Pay them, tag them, or let them walk. We'll tell you the moves as they happen on Westwood One Sports.
At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 4 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 3 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 2 minutes. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute, 30 seconds. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 1 minute. Stations, this is your final time check. At the tone, the broadcast will begin in 30 seconds.
Thank you to Raj and Laura for producing today's show. Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports and the Westwood One Sports app. Jim Rome coming up in 15 minutes right here on Westwood One Sports. If you want to join the conversation, you can call us at 310-840-4910. Download the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Odyssey, and you can watch the show daily on YouTube at Bleck and Abdalla Show. Like and subscribe to the new channel. Check it out, Bleck and Abdalla Show, live on YouTube each and every day, right here on Westwood One Sports. Abdalla, last night, Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs, they beat the Lakers. The Lakers didn't play anyone. LeBron was out. Luka was out. They rested a bunch of players that got hurt.
Yeah.
But the Lakers were not competitive last night, but the Spurs put it on them. And Wemby, in 26 minutes, scored 40 points. He had 12 rebounds. He was outstanding last night. And Wembanyama is now entering the category of must-watch in sports.
Yeah.
And when you kind of look around the sporting landscape, there's a few names that jump out, but Victor Wembanyama is starting to enter the conversation of the best shows in all of sports.
Absolutely. And I think that when you look at a guy like Victor Wembanyama and the best shows in sports, it's a guy that you get to watch all the time. You know, like when we talk about a guy like Shohei Ohtani, unless it's a night that he's pitching, I don't like putting him in that same category because he only bats a few times a game, you know? Like, I wouldn't go see him.
But what he does at the plate is electric.
But if Ohtani comes to my town, unless I know he's pitching on that night, I don't know if I'm buying. I don't know if I'm buying a ticket to go see Ohtani because he's only going to bat 3-4 times.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
But Ohtani is the one baseball player that in 3 or 4 at bats, it can be magical to witness.
But again, the cost I don't know unless he's pitching is worth it.
Now, if it's double duty, then
for sure. Absolutely.
Because I think
100%.
Ohtani is the one name that's number one across the board. Like, you can't be a sports fan in this day and age and have someone other than Ohtani as your number one as the best show in sports.
When he's pitching, I think.
All right, he's pitching. He pitches and he bats. So, okay.
I'm in there. Yeah.
I'm saying as both.
I'm there.
On the days he pitches,
I'm there.
He's number one.
I'm there. Wembanyama's got to be close to number 2. You know, when he comes to your town, you absolutely, whether your team is the best team in the NBA, if it's the Thunder when they do battle multiple times a year, or you've got the worst team in the NBA is in your town and they're tanking, and you're like, well, I got to buy a ticket to this one because the only reason that you go to games in your town if your team is tanking is to go see the opponents. And sometimes that's the case. And when a guy like Victor Wembanyama comes to your town, that's when your arena sells out. Is because some teams are like that. Some teams only sell out when the opponents come to town. And Victor Wembanyama is one of those guys.
Is he the best ticket in the NBA? I don't even know if Victor Wembanyama is the best ticket in the NBA.
Richardson's up there.
Well, you have Luka Doncic.
Doncic is up there.
You have Jokic.
Jokic is up there.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is in the conversation. Although I could see some people, no offense to those listening to us in the fine city of Oklahoma City, I could see some calling out the flop foul merchant and the fact that the style of play from SGA is not as appealing as what we've seen from other stars, like Steph Curry.
The problem
is clearly in the conversation.
Yeah, the problem to me with the Thunder is that they're boring to watch.
I don't think so. They're the best team in basketball. How's that boring?
That doesn't mean that they're fun.
They play great defense and they're good offensively. How's that boring?
Doesn't mean that they're fun to watch.
Well, you may not like the personalities.
It doesn't mean
they're not interesting personalities.
Yeah, and that's what I'm paying. That's what when I'm paying my hard-earned money to go see. I'm paying to go see personalities. That's why I said who I said. That's why I'm still paying to go see Steph. That's why I'm still paying to go see the Warriors, because I want to see Steph Curry, because I want to see personalities. I want to see 3-point shots. I want to see all that. Like, I want to see all that kind of stuff. Like, that's what I want to see.
You don't want to see SGA flopping around the floor?
No, I don't. I want
searching for free throws?
No, I don't want to see a free throw merchant.
He might be the best we've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
James Harden. There's no one better.
I don't want to see that.
Running into people and flailing.
No, I want to see Anthony Richardson. I want to see. Those are the guys that I want to see.
Anthony Richardson for the Colts?
No, not Anthony. Why did I say Anthony Richardson? Anthony Edwards. Why did I say Anthony Richardson?
I was going to say, what the hell are you
Anthony
talking
Richardson.
about?
Anthony Edwards is what I meant. Anthony Edwards. Anthony Richardson.
I was like, I think you could pay to go watch Anthony Richardson not play football.
I think he's at the gym getting something snapped into his eye again. That would hurt. That would hurt.
Yes, Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards.
Yes, he's a ticket you would want to watch.
Anthony Edwards.
For
Excuse
sure.
me. Yeah. Still got NFL on the brain.
Well, I mean, there are NFL players that would make the list, right? We're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen.
For sure.
You know,
I think you can even say some wide receivers are in that mix, you know? And defensive ends. Like defensive ends, wide receivers. Yeah, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, we spent a lot of time talking about today. Those are the guys you pay to see, defensive ends, wide receivers, and quarterbacks.
So besides the NBA and the NFL, is there a name that jumps onto the list that is worthy of it? I don't know if there is.
I think there's a couple pitchers out there that you could say that you would want to go see. Scooble's one of those names.
Skeens.
Yeah, Paul Skeens is on that list.
I could see that. I think some of the individual sports, it's more specific to if you like the personality.
Yeah.
Right? Like I could see someone, I mentioned earlier in the show, I watch a lot of tennis. Coco Gauff would be in the conversation. She's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
She's won majors. She's great. Alcaraz has won majors.
Yeah.
Sinner.
Yeah.
Like they're all three of them are incredible. Like with golf, Bryson DeChambeau would be in my, like, I like watching him play.
Yeah.
I like his attitude. I like his approach. I like his personality.
Well,
like DeChambeau would be in that conversation.
Well, like this goes into my boring thing. Like the best golfer in the world is the most boring guy. Like,
Scottie Scheffler.
Like
super boring.
The most boring. Like he's the best, but he's the most boring guy in the world.
Right. And that's why I'm like trying to think of like the individualized sports. If there's someone that stands above the rest, that it's like that's the best show in all of sports. And I don't know if there is someone like
Not
that.
right now, I don't think.
Like Scheffler has the game to merit that, but you're right, he's boring.
Like Tiger was that because he wasn't boring. Like he was the best and he wasn't boring.
Of course. And that's why DeChambeau, if Bryson was able to like go on like a 1.5 year heater where he won,
where he was the best golfer in the world,
3 majors in multiple years, like yes, I think he would be the guy to be in that category.
Mm-hmm.
But right now he's like really good. He's just not that yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like Tiger Woods is a whole different level.
Yeah.
Like when you're a individual athlete and the only realistic comparison is the greatest player to ever play basketball, right? Like that's a different level of stratosphere, right? Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. That's a different level.
Absolutely. And I think that on the global scale too, like that's what Wembanyama and the NBA love about Wembanyama is that like he's from overseas, like he's the game, they're trying to grow the game globally. And like when you have a superstar like that, that's what the NBA and like Adam Silver salivates over, is that you've got an international superstar that's one of the best draws in the NBA. That's what he wants. Like that's exactly when the guys that we mentioned, out of like the 5 guys that we mentioned, 2 of them are from overseas. That's what Adam Silver wants.
Well, there's multiple in the NBA, right? Jokic, Doncic,
3 out of the 5,
Wemby, like they're all from overseas, and I think that's why as you look towards the NBA All-Star Weekend coming up this weekend, the fact that they have the stars against the world situation, USA versus the world, that's where it's like, for the most part, the world team is the better team now. I will say this. Give credit to NBC and Peacock for this. That promo that they've been running for the last week or so, where everyone wants to rule the world, the song, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
That is a catchy tune.
It's a good promo.
Like that's how you promo.
Listen, NBC,
that's a great
knows
promo.
How to put on a production. The intro to the Super Bowl was great.
I'll give them that. Like, I'm not really excited for the game, but every time I hear them sing the names of the players to that song, I was like, okay, this works.
It's a quality promo.
I like that. All right, so Wembanyama. I mean, he's not quite there yet, but he is becoming quickly one of the best shows in all of sports.
I think he's up there. I think right now he's the one guy, one of the few guys in the NBA that if he comes to my town, I'll pay for.
Quickly, we go to Raj. We have 30 seconds left in the show. Raj, you have an update with Carlos with a K.
He had no idea that it had been picked up. I broke the news to him that Abdalla was talking about it on the radio. No clue.
That's awesome.
Love it.
He did tweet at us too.
Love it. So he's aware.
Yeah, my official statement, I meant every letter. The NBA is cooked.
There you go. Thank you, Raj. Appreciate it. It's Bleck and Abdalla here on Westwood One Sports. We will return tomorrow at noon Eastern. Jim Rome is coming up next here on Westwood One Sports.
This is Westwood One Sports.